5 o'clock.
And people voted for 5-4-ish, and I was like, yo, that's a good time. Everybody can make people get off work or it's.
But that's when people come home and get ready to chill.
Exactly. That's chill. Man, this motherfucker said 8 o'clock one day. I was like, woman, you crazy.
Live stream started, but let it flow for a little bit while people fill up the chat. So just keep bullshitting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still looking for it.
I'm gonna start retweeting it out.
All right.
What y'all been up to though? How's everybody been?
Good, man. Been good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
I know you've been good. You buying every damn collector's edition.
Hey, man, I gotta have it.
Yeah.
This dude. He's betraying us anyway. He's going to fucking Google Stadia. Trader ass. Always online. Trader ass.
I'm gonna be the first. I want to be the first person on Google.
And I hope Google fucking server goes down.
Probably
be on there 4K 60.
10.17.
Yeah, I know that hurts everybody's feelings. 10 flop. That's going to be more powerful than the new PlayStation 5. I can say that much. The new PS5 is not going to be 10 T-flops. So,
hey, and the good thing about it is they said they starting with that. They can easily just swap out the hardware and beef up more power. And, obviously it's going to be like everything, all the settings are ultra turned up and stuff, so you don't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
The only thing you really have to worry about is just make sure you have enough internet access, which
are we going to ignore the number one tragedy that just happened recently though? Like Gears 5 is like literally dead now.
Oh, like nobody's talking about this shit.
Like nobody's talking about it. They replaced Gears War for this fucking multiplayer shit.
Yeah.
That's the hot job.
Yeah. That's crazy. Gears died But you got to think about it, right? Everybody was on it the first day or two because they got it for $1, and then after that, it kind of moved on to the next thing. Borderlands kind of came out, broke some records and stuff. So people in general, man, even gamers, are just short-minded, and the attention span is very short. Most people beat Gears within 2 days, and
really? 2 days? Wow.
So now the Xbox dudes, they got a whole year of playing Gears 5 multi before they get another game. So it's all.
So my mic is causing.
But you.
Yeah. I'm just trying. They said it was causing a reverb, and everybody's body.
Somebody said lots of mic, lots of boring mics cutting.
Yeah, lots of mic. The mics are cutting in and out. So let me leave and come back.
Hey,
is it just you?
Well, no, they said, "Hey guys, how are the mics?" They said cutting out.
How about now? Sound good?
Hey, can you guys hear us now? Hey, rates, is it good now?
Yeah, I hear everybody.
Are we good? Can you hear us? Give us some feedback.
Because you might have to switch the server because
they meant botting. They meant botting, not boring. They said no, it's everybody. Everybody's botting. So
all right,
everybody's
botting.
Yeah, they said all of us botting.
Are we botting now?
All three of us botting. It could be the Discord server,
which they were working on.
They said we're still botting. Okay. I'm not sure.
You know how to switch the server, right?
No, how you switch the server?
It's
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on, guys. We're trying to work out this technical difficulty.
Yes.
Hold on, let me do the front page real quick.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I hear you cutting out. Hey, but Ryan, he doesn't cut out.
Well,
about testing. 1, 2,
I'll try to jump out and see.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Let me see. Let's see what else.
Yeah, it's Discord. Discord was running some problems earlier.
Yeah.
Was it? Is it the Discord? That's the one.
No, Discord earlier. People were running into problems like their cameras weren't working, kicking them out of parties and shit.
Let's see.
Yeah, they were working on it.
All right. Let me see.
I think we sound good there. Is everybody good?
The levels are good.
Let's see.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Are you on your phone? J-Dub?
Is it? Yeah, but
okay,
Wi-Fi.
Hear your phone.
Hear me
You
now?
on Wi-Fi though?
Yeah, I'm on my is it just me? If it's just me, then I'll go jump on the computer real quick.
Yeah, you get on the PC, bro. That's your phone.
Yeah, because you are.
right.
I know you're cutting in and out more than anybody else.
All right, I'm jumping right back on.
All right, we won't start without you. So we'll start off. So Ryan, what you been up to, man? In terms of gaming, whatever.
Nah, I've been chilling, man. You already know. Playing everything I possibly can.
Just getting your hands on everything. All right.
You already know. Shit. There's too much coming out as it is. You know? Motherfuckers just they fraud out here.
There's a lot of content coming out. A lot.
Especially with the I already know you heard about the whole shit with Spider-Man, man. You know, motherfucker back in the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean that was a big deal.
I think was Disney agreed to a 25% split.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's gonna be like 2 more films, something like that now. So that's good. That's good.
25%. Yeah. So I'm glad they able to work it out. But I knew it had to be Disney to ease up on what they were doing, because 50% was too much. You know,
yeah,
not that I care about each other's pocket or whatever, because when it comes to movies, I really don't care who makes the movie. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like it's not like gaming for me. Movies is not the same as gaming. I don't care what who makes it. But
I was talking to a few people about that secret ending though. At the end of Far From Home, that they set up a certain character. I don't know if you didn't catch on to it at the end.
The secret, the one that they exposed his identity ending, or is there a different one?
No, it's a different one. Now you notice his identity's out there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they exposed Kraven the Hunter.
Not yet.
No, because they're fucking doing casting for him, casting of Kraven the Hunter, and I think they're hinting at him already. Yeah,
he wouldn't be a bad character.
Yeah, they can cast for him now.
Yeah,
because
you guys hear me? Mic check.
Yeah.
Now
you're good.
This is Mike Lowry. Can y'all hear me? Mike Lowry.
And this motherfucker wants to stream his game on his phone. Can't even do goddamn podcasting.
Oh, shit. The podcast ain't started yet. You exposing me. Come on,
B-Rock. Who's actually in the program? You signed up for the program for xCloud?
Yeah, I did. I'm on EA's
shit.
My antivirus software won't let me use it.
That's like what happened to me. I can't play Gears. My computer stopped playing it.
Yeah, xCloud messed up because they only allow Android phones.
Well, they start. So I think Phil Spencer talked about it. He said that first priority is Android because they have the most operating systems out there. But also, I'm wondering if iPhone's going to allow it, because Apple's doing Apple's doing their own thing. What's that shit called? Yeah,
Apple Arcade. Real talk, I'm subscribed to it now. I've been playing it on my iPhone, my iPad, and my Apple TV. Yeah. That shit is the truth, bro. Real talk.
That's what I'm saying. So that technically could take away from Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
So it may not come to Apple because Apple may not allow it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because Apple's not an open source software. Like, you have to go through them to put shit in their store. And if they don't approve it, they're like, nope.
And Google Stadia is going to have shit that's exclusive to them. A lot of like the YouTube services and maybe Hangouts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, all of these third party companies are doing their own services and stuff. So expect
EA,
those games to be
like EA's doing something too, right?
Yeah. I'm part of EA's cloud trial.
Yeah, their cloud shit. This shit's
fun. Yeah. Right now it's streaming at 720p, and they give you for like 5 games like FIFA, Titanfall 2, and a couple other games that they give you. It's okay. They need to. I think next month they're going to update it where it's like 1080p, and then they're going to bump it up to 1440p, and then they're testing it that way.
Yeah, ready.
Yes. So think about it, man. All this content and everybody's going to have their own service. It's going to be hard for one service just to get everything, and people are not going to subscribe to 50 different services.
Yeah,
I mean, they got Uplay Plus for fuck's sake.
I think people are going to find what they want, and they're just going to stick with it.
Yeah, I think right now, there's something I read that Netflix is losing subscribers because they're going to other services now. Because before you think about it, Netflix became popular because they're really the only main one. I mean, they had Hulu, but really it was between Netflix and Hulu, and Netflix was just better. But now that you got Disney and all these motherfuckers, people are picking what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about
Netflix.
You only watch like three or four shows on Netflix, right?
Yeah, that's what it's for. Yeah. Like people either go for the shows or certain movies, and they'll say "fuck it" when they're gone. So
exactly.
I know a lot of people who subscribe to it back because you remember that show Nip Tuck?
Yep.
It was on Netflix, and they removed that the entire season, so they left.
Yeah. Well, Disney Plus is a beast. They have everything.
Yeah.
So
then Apple has the new Apple Plus programming and stuff. They have a bunch of good shows that's coming on that. A bunch of new content and exclusive stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think they're going to start with everybody's going to have their own service, and then little by little they're going to start dying out, and then it's going to be a handful. I think it's kind of the race to the bottom. Only the big dogs are going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't lie, man. $5 a month for the Apple Arcade, $5 a month for the Apple Plus. Not too shabby.
Hold on, let me send J Bar's trying to get down, so let me send them another.
All right.
Let me send them another Discord invite.
Cool.
¿Dónde está? Here we go. Man, things were all so simple. I feel like Wu-Tang. Can it be all so simple then? Fucking Google y'all can't even keep Hangouts, and you're gonna convince me this Stadia shit's gonna work.
Well,
that's
I still think StreamYard is a better Hangout than I think OBS.
You have to pay for.
No, you don't.
For the full features.
Well, but it's not. I mean, you just put an avatar up there like we did on Hangout.
Yeah.
So that's all you do. I mean, I change my avatar constantly. I can change my background. All that's free. All that is free.
I might try that out.
Yeah, well, Jay, you were on there a couple nights ago.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
You talking about the discount Hangouts?
Yeah, the discount Hangout. I mean, you can have 6 people on there. You can use a camera if you want to. It's all there. So that's what I like using. The Discord thing, I like it because I can record gameplay and play it. Or OBS, but I'll be doing an OBS stream tomorrow morning. So somebody said y'all are always blaming Google.
What was it called? The Fugle Squad? Yeah, Fugle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Streamlabs just got bought out by Logitech. Well, maybe they'll do some things differently. I like it. There's just way too much going on. There are things I want to add. I was watching the Crossfire thing last night with Mucha, because Jay, you were on there, weren't you?
Yeah.
And how they do the upcoming events. I want to add that to mine. So I'm so I'll be doing an in-service again, finding that online. Figure that because I like that. How it's having upcoming events and stuff like that. So
yeah, upcoming shows you can kind of
Yeah. So yeah. So I'm excited about that. I got my T-shirts ready to come out now.
Nice.
What T-shirt?
My 4.2 greater than 6 T-shirt. I went to the mall. I went to a mall. Guy has a little shot. Yes, 4.2 greater than 6. They're free, but you got to pay for shipping. So.
Oh my god.
That's why Craig is my tech guy.
He said you got 4.2 T-flop.
Him and Luke Walker.
Yeah, greater than 6. That's what it says. It's very basic. 4.2 greater than 6. And that will cause a conversation.
Hey, can we agree that the T-flop wars are over?
Yeah, even White Zaddy said that.
For now, it's going to start all over again.
No, it's not. White Zaddy said it was.
Listen. I think ponies will concede that because to them it doesn't matter how many T-flops they have.
No,
Scarlet most likely
let me
will
tell
be
you
more.
something. If PlayStation 5 is more powerful than Scarlet, you're gonna see their.
Oh, of course we're gonna use that for ammo.
No.
But I'm just saying,
Because I was there in the beginning. They're gonna use that shit like mad hard because they
Yep.
did it. They
It
did it in the
won't
beginning.
matter. They're going to both do the same thing.
P-Rock, the first thing the ponies are gonna say is, okay, good. What games you got? Where your games at? If you ain't got no game to show the power off of that Scarlet, what does it matter?
Well, they're going to have Halo.
That goes with every
Wait till
system. You know, that goes with every.
No,
At the end of the day, it's always
That's
about
what
the
we
game.
have E3 for. Wait till E3.
Oh
Yep.
shit! Wait till Tokyo Game Show. I'm
Wait
like,
to
ooh, they
wait
gotta
to
do
X
those.
show.
When they told Zaire that, he's like, I'm done. These guys told me wait to Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
Yo.
But,
I think that's what Zaire gave up. When they said that,
Scarlet.
that shit,
I don't know.
that
I don't
did
know
it.
who they be at a Tokyo Game Show.
Yo,
They're
they
American
told him,
Scarlet.
company.
you know, there's still Tokyo Game Show. He's like, what?
Yeah, well, Scarlet, I think, will be a little more powerful, but they're going to both do the same thing.
Yeah.
They will do the exact same thing.
XO20.
But
I think it'll be
the
similar.
X is the world's most powerful console right now. It doesn't matter. So
I think I still think that's the PlayStation Pro. The power is in its games.
yeah,
Although Ori and the Will of the Wisp and Battle Frog is going to be 4K, so that's going to trump The Last of Us.
I'm playing Ori and the Blind Forest right now on my Switch Lite.
I tried playing that.
This is
I
the
couldn't get into
definitive
it.
way to play.
It's a platform.
I
right?
know, but I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two different games, but like Cuphead, oh my god, I couldn't stop putting it down. Ori, I'm like, this fucking furry motherfucker. Like I just couldn't get into it. Like Cuphead, I could not put that game down. I beat that game in 3 days. I couldn't stop playing it.
Yeah,
Ori, I'm like,
I stopped playing it because I played that game with those two pasty white girls.
I heard about Nintendo being cheap with the light though. Like they're using the same fucking Joy-Cons. Now they got drifting problems.
I heard, the Switch Lite had drifting.
They got a class action lawsuit going on.
That's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
Damn.
Class
Guess
action.
what?
How you get a class
Everybody-
action lawsuit on a controller?
Again.
Like what the fuck?
Yep.
Jay Barry's in the chat.
Last time too.
Barry's
For that
well, he's
week,
in
Brendan-
he's in the room.
Okay.
He's muted though. I don't know if he knows that. I could
Oh, yo, yeah.
Okay. My man was talking. He's like, listen to me, motherfuckers.
Oh, nah. I'm getting a foot massage right now, so I ain't
Oh
gonna be too
shit!
loud. Yeah,
My man sipping on that wine in his PlayStation robe.
Hey, you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
What's good, guys? What's up?
What's up?
Shit.
What's happening?
What's up, player?
Chilling, man. Shout out to Naughty Dog.
Ready to burn your copy? No multiplayer.
I'm excited as hell.
Yeah,
Good.
I canceled my pre-order. I'm joking.
I hope they charge $2,000 for a mode that has nothing to do with the game. You know, nothing to do with.
I don't think they're gonna charge.
Oh, we're gonna start the round. We're gonna kick this off.
Let's go.
You know, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna let the panel go first before I just come in and just say you're all wrong. But before I say that, I'm gonna just let y'all say y'all piece first. We'll start with Craig.
All right.
Craig, go first.
Look, Naughty Dog. Yeah, shout out to everybody out there. 60 frames, no lag. In here with almost Avengers Assemble, Big Cloud, J Barry, J Dub City, Porter Rock 77, and of course the man you love to hate. The man that makes sure that their toast is buttery and their biscuits are just as buttery. It is your boy. Look, anybody who did not even let Naughty Dog's event play out before Naughty Dog released their state flat out garbage. Sony has umpteen studios. Only 2 of them produce multiplayer, which is the baseball game and Gran Turismo. That is it. Where are these people's videos at for
Can I have a
Horizon Zero
question?
Dawn?
Question from the audience. Didn't Naughty Dog produce multiplayer with Uncharted 4? Just a question.
Yes.
I'm just asking a
They
question.
did, but it was added on.
So it wasn't there day one? Just a question.
It was there day one. The second one.
I think it was added on, wasn't it?
First.
It wasn't added on.
It was day one.
Oh,
It was day one.
So they added it on with 2.
Question
They
number
added
two.
it on with 3.
Question number 2. Didn't Guerrilla launch with a multiplayer game with Killzone Shadowfall? Just a question, sir.
Absolutely.
They did, but not their main game they just had. But they did.
But their main game is a brand new
But
IP.
they went away from it. But they went away from it.
Guerrilla main game. Guerrilla main game is still Killzone. It's still Killzone.
Yeah, but they're most successful.
As much as everybody don't like Killzone or claim they don't like Killzone, Killzone sells pretty well.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that the statement that there was only 2 studios that made multiplayer was refuted. That is all. Continue, Craig. That's all I wanted to make sure that that narrative. No fake news. No fake news. You are fake news.
A game that came out in 2013. You're adding to the list when they just did a great game in Horizon Zero Dawn.
All I'm saying is you just said there was only 2 studios that made multiplayer games. I just mentioned 2 more.
Well, they're majors, and now again, was so successful, why didn't they do it with their latest game?
Because
why does it?
It's a totally new IP.
Listen, I'm under them. Listen, as a gamer, right? Not every game has to have a multiplayer.
I agree with that statement.
And I get that. I think the biggest argument, right, is that a game where the first version had multiplayer, and then a couple of years before this one, it was under the mindset that a multiplayer mode would be there. That's the overall problem. Was I think the mindset of, well, you kind of promised through some articles and stuff a year or 2 years ago, so now you're telling me no, which just to keep, I'm not making excuses, but which when we look at Uncharted 4, and we saw what they did with the Lost Legacy, they had a lot of extra content in there, and they decided release that as DLC. But come to find out, it ended up being pretty much almost a whole nother game.
Yeah, Jay, quick question. Who made Uncharted Lost
Legacy? Naughty Dog.
Okay, where's their multiplayer?
They didn't have one.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Multiplayer.
That's not true.
You have access to online. Lost Legacy.
Because remember, the Lost Legacy is part of Uncharted 4, and what they did was, if you bought Lost Legacy, it included the multiplayer.
Lost Legacy.
Like let's say if you didn't buy Uncharted 4 and you only bought Lost Legacy for whatever reason, because let's say you didn't care about Nathan Drake, but you were cool with the new characters. When you bought Lost Legacy, you still got the multiplayer. It came part of it. You had access to it.
Okay,
but it's not.
Well, listen. You have to excuse my ignorance because I didn't play and I didn't care for Uncharted, the multiplayer, or The Last of Us multiplayer. So that's why
I play all the multiplayers. So
that's why we got the expert Bari here.
Yeah, I played it one time for 10 seconds. Guess what? All you did was hide behind a bush and shoot me. Boring as fuck. Same thing you did in 1998 if you played Ghost Recon on PC. Hid behind a bush and you shot. That's it.
It's insurance.
Nothing has changed.
That depends on somebody's play style.
Well, no, that's true because I see you playing, and I know you people put on the headset, and people put in the headset, and they call in the B2 and get one man army. You know, if you're not being paid to play multiplayer, why don't you play on PC? Okay, because that's where you're at.
The thing is that on the Last of Us Part 2, because the multiplayer is there. Why? Because today, boot up The Last of Us, you can still find matches in an instant. For Last of Us, because that's how dedicated that fan base is in factions mode.
Okay, but Jay Bar, are they coming out with a multiplayer for the game?
For The Last of Us 2?
Last of Us 2, according to there's a multiplayer in the works that's coming, but I don't think it's going to be a part of The Last of Us 2.
That's right, but it's coming.
It'll be like
before you go on.
We're gonna go down the line.
The reason why the impressions were so strong as far as having The Last of Us within this game, a multiplayer within this game, is because The Last of Us multiplayer is so strong. The community in there is so strong. This dedicated fan base. Also, they've been hiring people for weeks, for months now, as far as dedicated towards The Last of Us. They just shut down the servers for Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, and Last of Us on PS3. Why are you shutting down them servers for? Knowing that Naughty Dog, you make multiplayer games within your single player games. I mean, everybody know it's more for the single player, but you're not going to shut down no server without. It's not going to have. That's the freeing up something for something new to come.
But so Byron, here's the thing, right? We're talking about PlayStation. We're talking about last generation, right? We're going to 2 generations later, so I get them shutting that shit down. Like, listen, I hate to say it, but if you're still gaming on PS3 when PS5 gonna come out.
I understand that, but I'm saying like you freeing those servers up because people still play on them. You freeing them up just so you can let in the new.
Well, they have the numbers. They have the numbers. They know who's playing and who's not. So, they had to have the calculation of that. They probably said, look, the only people playing this is Bari and P-Rock. So we're gonna go ahead and close this.
It's not even about me and
Here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna cut that narrative down right now. Okay, all of us here have internet, right?
Yep.
We all use Netflix, right? Like Netflix. No. Like who here complains about not being able to watch Netflix in their house?
I don't have Netflix.
Or some type of streaming. So do you have Hulu?
I do have Hulu.
Okay, so Hulu doesn't matter, right? So we all have internet, right? Easily, right? Yeah. So would always online 24-hour check-in truly impact us? Like in reality, would that really impact us? Like no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't, right?
Well, not right now.
Generally, in reality, it doesn't. But yet we all fought the fight together because we know it's bad for the community, even though it doesn't impact us. I don't live in bumfuck Montana in the mountains.
Exactly.
So in reality, if Sony said, "Hey, we're gonna do 24-hour check-in," it doesn't really impact me because I always have internet. It doesn't really, but yet we all fought the fight. So the excuse of I don't do it because of multiplayer, that's not an excuse to me. Because we've done it before. We've done it for things that had nothing to do with us. But the main part is this right for the community? Is this right for gamers? That's what we need to look at. Listen, I'm not arguing that every game should have multiplayer. I'm not saying that. I'm cool with Days Gone having multiplayer. I'm cool with Ghost of Tsushima having multiplayer. They're new games. That's how they made the idea, right? Mm-hmm. But The Last of Us did have multiplayer, and Naughty Dog made the statement that they're gonna have multiplayer for the game. Mm-hmm. They reneged on what they said.
Yeah,
we would not accept this if it was Xbox. I know we would not accept this if Xbox did that.
Yep.
If Microsoft did the same, if Microsoft right now tomorrow said, "Hey, Halo Infinite is gonna be multiplayer only because that's what the community only plays, and we want the multiplayer be the best ever," we will flip the fuck out on not having single player. I guarantee every person that's cool with multiplayer not being on The Last of Us will flip the fuck out. And here's the worst part: they don't even have a fucking Xbox or PC, so they wouldn't be able to play the game anyway. But they'll be out there on Twitter flipping a bitch. They'll be like, "No single player for Halo," and they never played a Halo game ever.
Yeah.
So come on, can we cut the? I'm not saying. Listen, you guys know more than anybody else. I'm not the super big multiplayer guy, but I am the biggest motherfucker that calls a spade a spade. Last of Us started with a multiplayer. We had no issue. Here's the thing: you got motherfuckers today now saying that it's tacked on. I never heard of anyone calling, other than Xbox. I never, ever heard a PlayStation dude ever call a Naughty Dog multiplayer tagged on. This is today is the first time I heard that sentence from a PlayStation dude. The first time.
Yesterday was the first day I heard Xbox dudes say Sony actually acknowledged that Sony actually have multiplayer games. Because prior to that,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Here's what I'm gonna say.
All of a sudden, we do.
But listen. But I understand this. But when I'm talking about it, right? I'm not an Xbox dude. I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it from the perspective that PlayStation's the brand, and it's the brand I love for a reason, right? So PlayStation guys are telling me, Porter Rock, that Naughty Dog makes tacked-on multiplayer. I never heard of that from a PlayStation dude ever on any game. I never heard any multiplayer game ever being tacked on. And we had some shit. I have motherfuckers hype PlayStation All-Stars. And now Naughty Dog makes top-down multiplayer? Come
funny,
on, bro.
the multiplayer in The Last of Us is so integrated, like how the single player runs. It's not even funny. Like every element from like the single player, they incorporate that within the multiplayer. But now you're just like in a,
it's just natural.
You gotta take care of your following, your crew. You know what I mean? With flying over meds. It's just crazy. It's like, yo, I don't understand how PlayStation fans Last of Us can call this multiplayer tacked on. Like if you haven't played it, you just got to fall back a little bit and let the people that have played it and enjoy it their grievance. Because honestly, I feel like if people didn't share their grievance between finding out that there was no multiplayer there in the game, they wouldn't have said that within that day. They wouldn't have said it. They would have waited a little bit. You know what I mean?
They caught pressure. They made a response because it trended.
Absolutely.
It trended. So that should tell you, like, if it was only me and I didn't even at them, I just asked them a simple question. It's not like I don't harass no devs. When I talk shit, I don't tag devs because they have a professional job. So I'm not going to, like, I wouldn't want nobody calling my job on some bullshit. So I don't tag devs on some bullshit. I don't make fun of them. I don't include them in jokes. I don't respond when, because it's their job. They're professionals, right? All I asked Naughty Dog was a simple question. Hey, can you clarify this, right? That's it. Couple hours later, they fucking made an official statement. It's because they received heat. They're receiving big heat over this.
Gamer, they jumped the gun on the news. I don't think it was supposed to come out today because they just want everybody to see the new elements of the single player stuff. And I think that whole multiplayer not being in there incorporated was going to come later. But
they made an interview though, so they had to know this shit was going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't think those interview quotes were supposed to come out that day. I don't think it was supposed to come out that day. But
they needed the hits. US Gamer, them motherfuckers. I would listen. If I was, they gave Uncharted 4 50. I will blacklist US Gamer. I'm like, you gave my game a 50. I ain't talking to your ass. I'll be like Donald Trump. You're no longer allowed in the White House. Get the fuck out.
I totally denied it because I was like, US Gamer. I was like, get out of here.
I would have lied. If I was Neil, I'd be like, oh, they're lying. They gave our game a 50. Don't they fake news.
Exactly. I was like, what? That was my initial reaction. Like, what? Like, who are you? Like, US Gamer.
When I saw US Gamer, I'm like, but when they made a specific quote, I'm like, oh, this is bad. I'm like, because they made a specific quote.
I'm glad Naughty Dog literally said, we are dedicated to the single player narrative. To hell with everybody.
Well, let me ask you this, Craig.
Let me finish. If you don't like it, don't play it. They
never said that. They never said that. You added that. You added that. You added seasonings to Mama's barbecue.
No. I get that. The bottom line is this. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's that simple.
No.
We can't.
Let me add to what Craig is saying. Hold on. Let me add to what Craig is saying.
The first one.
No, let me explain. Their most successful games this generation do not have multiplayer. Period. Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man. Everybody did a video on Spider-Man. Where's Spider-Man's multiplayer?
But
they don't need it.
Craig, also, The Last of Us Remastered is one of the most successful that have multiplayer.
The Last of Us is the fastest selling pre-ordered game in the history of Sony.
All right, Craig, right now, the highest selling game for Naughty Dog is Uncharted 4. That's their highest selling game.
Uncharted, it is until this game comes out. You're right, though. I agree.
The point we're trying to say, and you bring up Spider-Man, no one promised multiplayer for Spider-Man. Craig, you're not understanding. The argument we're trying to make is
the game or the series.
The argument we're trying to make is right. Sony cut content when they said it was gonna be provided. That's the argument. Yeah. The argument is not every game needs multiplayer. The argument is a company that normally provide X amount of content no longer provides a major content. Yeah. They went back on their word. So the question is why? This is my question. Why did they do that? Now, the number one answer, they want to focus on single player. That's the number one answer, right?
Yeah,
correct.
So I want to ask you something. Was there anything wrong with The Last of Us from single player?
From the single player standpoint? No, I did not give a right.
That had multiplayer.
Yeah,
I can't remember any point in Naughty Dog that by them including multiplayer, they fucked up the single player.
No. Before the Rock, according to them, they made this game the single player. They decided to put those efforts in the single player and make this game so much larger than the last one. The motherfucker need 2 discs, right? So they made that calculated. They made that calculated risk where we're gonna put the multiplayer on the back burner. Yeah, we're working on something on that. We're hiring guys. We're doing stuff on that. But
I'm gonna do a shot.
We need to get.
Right, go ahead,
we need to get this game out this year. Guaranteed.
So let me pay the bills. All right, Glorious War, $2. Super G says multiplayer Naughty Dog has always been side dish. God damn, bro.
Facts.
Damn, bro. Oh man, that's y'all hurt my feelings. Glorious War again. I understand the outrage, but in the grand scheme of things, Last of Us Part 2 won't be affected by no multiplayer. The vast majority of consumers buy for single player. So here's my points, and I understand what you're saying. So first, let's start with the 2-disc BS, because y'all got suckered with that statement. The 2-disc BS, all that means is the game is bigger than 50 gigs. Because a PlayStation 4 disc only holds 50 gigs. What game isn't bigger than 50 gigs at this point? Almost all of them are.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean anything. I'm looking at, like, when they said that, I said, yo, hold on, let me look at my games. Spider-Man is 78 gigs. Yeah. So the statement that doesn't mean anything.
Puerto Rock, that does not mean, right? That does not mean that both of those discs are full. And then on top of that, just like every other game release, you're still gonna have to download another 7.
That's what I'm saying. So there's that's what I don't know. No, the one I know. What we know is the reason at a minimum the game is bigger than 50 gigs.
Know, let's talk about what we do know. Yeah. What we do know is that the game is so large, they can let the media play 3 hours of the game and still don't have to worry about them reaching 1% of the game. Wow. So obviously we know that that's large, and that comes straight from the media, and that comes straight from Neil Druckmann's mouth. Yeah. Okay. So we know you can play 3 hours in the game and still not touch 1% of the game. So we know is that much larger than the Last of Us. Now, what it turns out to be, we don't know, because I haven't played the game yet. None of us have. But we do know that shit, if you can mess around in the game for three whole hours playing the story and still not even reach 1% of the game, it's that much larger than the first game.
So let's compare it to another great game.
You can't go by the whole, okay, this is 50 gigs, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of games, they compress that data so they can, make sure that
new compression techniques and shorter.
So let me ask you a question. So I'm going to give you another example.
A lot of content in there.
So a lot of content, right? Cyberpunk. If it's anything like Witcher 3, it's going to be fucking huge single player game, right? It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge, right? On top of that, they already announced gamers who buy Cyberpunk are going to get free single player content. So that's even more content on top of that.
Okay.
And they're still doing multiplayer. So here's my question: how the fuck does The Witcher? I mean, these guys, they don't have that. They publish their own shit, and they're nowhere near as big as Sony Worldwide Studios. How the fuck are they able to do it? And Naughty Dog.
Man, they're coming out with a game called Cyberpunk. Who cares? I mean, what the hell is Cyberpunk?
Oh shit, man!
I mean, if I want to play,
y'all handle that. That's on you guys.
I will play Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
I'm not even
for everybody in the chat. Craig's opinion is courtesy of Craig Harris.
The opinions of Craig Harris does not necessarily reflect those of the 60 frame.
To tell me what's the difference in this and in that crazy game where what was it called, Deus Ex, whatever it's called, Mankind Divided. When you had cybernetics, you had hacking. You can do the same thing in this game.
All right, you're talking about the developers who technically have the record for most game of the year. They own it. They beat for Witcher 3. They beat Naughty Dog for the most Game of the Year awards. I'm not saying they're better or worse. I'm just saying there is some credibility on what they do.
Wait.
Well, it's going up against Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
That's some credibility. So let's not shoot them short, right? There's some credibility on what they do, right?
It's going to go up against Ori and Battletoads. So it's going to get beat. Battletoads is going to be 4K native, but Cyber will not be. I don't
I'm going to make an official statement. Craig right now is on Moonshine. So I'm just saying right now. I'm saying it right now. So he may not be as coherent as he normally is.
There's another bill you got to play from
Hey, Ashton Luca, what's up, girl? Just dropping in to show some support. What up, Rock? Love the panel. Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much, girl, for hooking it up. Again, My man is on that Kentucky bourbon, so he's a little bit frosty today. He's enjoying his Saturday.
I'm always frosty. And I'm telling the truth. The bottom line,
he's sipping on that yak. So
let's look at the last 3 games from 2018. God of War, which I think won Game of the Year. White Zaddy gave that Game of the Year.
Okay.
Detroit Become Human, okay, which was successful and had people in the community in their friggin' butter and they biscuit. And then Spider-Man. None of those had a multiplayer component. All of them sold fairly well. And like I said, White Zaddy gave Game of the Year to a game with no multiplayer. So
the thing is that people's missing.
I think Craig didn't hear the beginning part. Craig, what we're saying is this. No, what we're saying is Sony said, well, Naughty Dog specifically said, this is what you're getting with The Last of Us because the expectation. Listen, right? Because the expectation, the first one had it, and then they say, well, you're no longer going to get it. And what we're doing is we're going to create a standalone multiplayer. Right? And this is where I'm leading. This is where I'm going to lead the conversation to. They're creating a standalone multiplayer, and they said themselves it's not part of The Last of Us 2. Which leads me to my question now. This is where ultimately, after I pay this bill right here, MRNH, thank you for the super chats. It can't bring CP 27 to this when the multiplayer isn't even going to be there at launch. But it will be there with the game. Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer is part of Cyberpunk 2077. The multiplayer Naughty Dog is doing is not part of The Last of Us 2. That's what they said in their official statement. They said in their official statement that The Last of Us 2, Part 2, will not have online, but they are working on a multiplayer project, but it is not part of The Last of Us Part 2. So this is where I'm going to ask you a question, right? And I'm going to precept it with this. First and foremost, in case everybody forgot, Sony is a corporation, and they answer up to the board first and foremost. They are always trying to find max profit on their success. They're always going to try to leverage technologies, situation, media, everything they can to get more money. They're not going to rest on their laurels, right? So this gen, right, Sony's like God Almighty with single player. Everybody loves them for single player. They're applauded. They're congratulated, they're respected, they're everything. Like the ball is in their court in terms of respect and being a powerhouse for single player content, right? And I just proposed this scenario. Why that Sony is abusing that, right? And they figure, you know what? Let's start separating multiplayer and single player from these games. Tell our audience that the reason why we're doing this is because we want the single player games to be the best they can be. We're going to get multiplayer separately, but when the multiplayer comes out, it's a separate fee. So now they effectively separated 2 modes that will be under one game for $60, but now they found a way to make double the money on something that would normally be part of the game.
Look, I don't think that's the case at all. I think that's not the case. That's an artificial.
Why?
Listen, that's an artificial made up.
Sony, I got him.
Sony wouldn't do that. Let me remind you before you correct me. Let me remind you. Sony launched GT Sport Online only when they were initially against that. I'm gonna remind you about that. So now go ahead. Tell me. Yeah.
No, they named it GT Sport for a reason. It was an esports game. And when they got the feedback from the people that wanted a full-fledged single player game, they decided to go ahead and make
a single. They got ripped apart.
Yeah, that's true.
They got ripped apart. It was not simple feedback. They got ate the fuck up.
The game sold 8 million copies, which is more than GT6 that had both modes.
Yeah,
right? This was tailored. They stated from the beginning, this is a esports game. This is not Gran Turismo 7.
Matter of fact, the first time they showed GT Sports, they showed it in like a tournament.
It was in the tournament. Yeah, it was focused towards it. GT Sport, even today, is exclusively it's focused towards the esports crowd for the racers like me with racing rigs. It is not for the regular guys with dual shocks that want to play a full-fledged Gran Turismo game. Those Gran Turismo games launch with thousands of cars, with the arcade and simulation mode, with all the other ones. And that's why they say Gran Turismo 7 that's coming up, next generation, will include from GT1 all the way to GT Sport, all the tech that they learned with all those games are going to come in that particular game. But this was their first foray into the whole esports crowd because they saw how thriving the multiplayer was with GT6 and GT. So this wasn't them changing anything. This was their whole tactic.
And you saw how the GT
game, a whole separate game.
And you saw how the GT and you saw how the GT crowd reacted. And think about it, they didn't make. So
yes.
Let's say
what did they do?
Let's say
they added the modes. They added some modes that satisfy those particular gamers, but they still focus, right? They're still 100% focused on the esports crowd. That's why you see tournaments every weekend.
Yeah, but they still appease to the crowd that always supported Gran Turismo.
No, and I get that. And listen, again, like you said, they're a corporation. I get that. They heard the people where it's like, look, I want a full-fledged GT game like we had, and they don't have time to wait. And so in the meantime, they gave them the offline modes that they needed to satisfy them and tempt them down. They sold 8 million copies of the game, right? So obviously people are not that upset. But I don't agree with the whole taking Sony. This is their plan going forward. They're going to take all these modes and separate they never once stated that. What Sean Layden said.
Of course, they're not going to state that.
No, listen. What Sean Layden said, right, is they thrive and they are successful and they're good at. They found their niche. They're good at single player story driven games, and they said that their focus going forward was going to be to try to build up some of those multiplayer games. This is why they're building up the Predator, right? They're giving you this. Listen, I hate to say it, but outside of SOCOM and what's the other game, MAG, and games like that, to tell you the truth, they've never really did the online.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
But it has never thrived like Xbox. Because Xbox was built on that stuff.
So let me ask you this.
I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying, the reality of it is they have never been known for being that.
Okay, all right. So then let me ask you this. Then why make a dedicated multiplayer for The Last of Us? Why not just scrap it? Why they even bother doing it?
This is one studio that has they've explained it. Look, we're building this game, this big fucking game, and obviously we need to get this game out in time. We could, yes, because we had this question yesterday. Would you rather for them to have delayed that game and got the multiplayer? No. And this is just my opinion.
But let me ask you
want this fucking game. I wanted this game. I wanted this fucking game 2 years ago. I gotta have this game ASAP. I don't want to wait.
Here's my problem: is you're taking their word as if they're telling you the truth. They could just be talking. They could be making a bullshit. Because here's my number one thing: if they don't do multiplayer,
a nuclear weapon. How do we know?
But here's the thing. But here's what I'm gonna ask you. So you said that the multiplayer important. Then why are they making one dedicated then? You cannot tell me they're not good at multiplayer while at the same time building dedicated multiplayer. It doesn't make sense.
Listen, okay.
Why not scrap? Hold on. Why not scrap the dedicated multiplayer and just work on a new IP that's single player? Why even bother?
Can I address both of y'all real quick? Can I address both of y'all?
Hold on. Let me do the
one. I don't agree with that.
Let me do the.
Oh, go ahead. Pay the bill.
Going on to the next one. Glorious War, CD Red is bigger developer, more employees than Naughty Dog, which is beholden to Sony. Budgets are different than your independent versus big corp. I don't agree with that statement because Sony Worldwide Studios is much bigger than CDR. They're so big that they helped Kojima come from nothing in 2016 to in 3 years have a full-fledged AAA game with multiplayer. The man left Konami with nothing, not even an office to make a game, with an idea in his head in 2016. 3 years later, look what he has. And that's all because of Sony Worldwide Studios. So
listen, here's the thing.
So they're bigger than what we know.
They made The Last of Us 1 with multiplayer. So all of a sudden, they decided to yank it out of this one. All of a sudden, now they don't know how to do multiplayer. All of a sudden, now they're a
saying.
Developer. Like, no, that makes no sense, Puerto Rico. Listen,
I'm not saying that. In fact, I'm the opposite. I'm not the one saying.
Right?
Listen, he's not saying that.
Looking at this game, this being one of the most anticipated games of damn near this generation, saying that we can give you this game now, or we can work on the multiplayer, the latest, and add this all in, whatever kind of. Neil Druckmann said, look, we're working on this we're doing something different. We're trying something that's going to be bigger than just fucking putting the factions mode in there. We're building something, and all we can do is take them at that word. Now, if it comes out and we don't like it or it's shit, then we can shit on them all day. But they haven't delivered something for us to shit on it. And listen, if they come out with this mode or this game or whatever they're going to do to substitute for that built-in multiplayer, if they come out with it and they charge for it, or they then yes, shit on them all day, any and all day. Right, rightfully so. But to say all of a sudden because they made that decision, because I thought my fellow ponies thrived and bragged about Sony giving their developers the creative freedom to do whatever they want to do to make these big bangers, these highly exclusives that we ask for. And they're giving us that, a highly exclusive banger. But now, because they didn't add this mode in there right now, all of a sudden now they don't. Sony's all their studios, everything is just going to be single player, and they don't know how to do. It's like that's just so crazy.
No, let me ask you something. Creative freedom.
This game drops, right? Because Red Dead came with and GTA and the rest of those games came with a multiplayer later and after, and they did other stuff after. I just can't understand.
Honestly, number one, creative freedom doesn't mean you get to screw over the gamer. That's number one. If anyone does not see this in there, if number one, if I was to put a betting man, that's not going to be free. If I was to put a betting man,
do you know that they're going to charge?
If you told me to bet $60, I will take that bet right now. I will put money on that. You're going to have to pay for that. I will put money on that. I will put a 60.
You're not going to pay for it.
I will put a $60 fucking AAA game on that bet right now. Because you're not going to tell me. You're not going to tell me.
I don't know how big this multiplayer is. Anyway.
You're not going to tell me.
Okay, what did
that they're going to make a big multiplayer?
What did they do with Lost Legacy?
And they're going to get rid of it.
Uncharted, and if you bought Uncharted right, you got it for free. If you didn't buy Uncharted 4, then you had to pay $20.
Lost Legacy used Uncharted 4's multiplayer.
That wasn't a standalone multiplayer. It was all linked.
It was using a multiplayer that already existed.
Yeah.
Which was
the thing
Uncharted
that's going on
4.
with Last of Us, this shit's on two discs. We don't even know how big the next multiplayer is going to be. What they're going to do with the next one.
It may not. You know what I'm saying? It may not even be the Last of Us universe. It may use mechanics from the Last of Us, but it could be a totally brand new online multiplayer.
This is all assumption. This is all just making stuff up. We don't know.
Okay, but
some people are saying the worst case scenario, and others are saying.
Can we hold on? Can we hold on for a second, guys?
Just like we
avoid the assumptions. I'm trying to give y'all the facts.
All right, so here's number one fact. All right, here's a fact: The Last of Us 2 will not have multiplayer. That's it. That's
not true.
That's it.
Not true.
The Last of Us 2 is gonna have multiplayer.
Right. P. Right, you my man. I'm your man. Pause. You my man. I see you and you see me. I see you and I see you. You see me. I'm going to give you the facts right now. Can we relax, guys? Let me address J-Dub first, where he said PS3 or whatever they have known for multiplayer. That is not true because Sony had a dedicated studio that's doing multiplayer games with Sony Online Entertainment. A lot of people leave that out. I don't know why. PlayStation also, last generation, had the most dedicated servers, games, for video games.
Yeah.
Just letting y'all know that. That is a fact. Look it up.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm just put a rock here. Statement. The lead single player, let's get this correct here. The lead game designer of single player and multiplayer, working on the Last of Us 2. The Naughty Dog statement said an update on multiplayer. So we get another update here. I haven't forgotten. We're still hiring for an online multiplayer team. Something is happening. Hold tight. Enjoy The Last of Us Part 2. And with Bruce Straley saying that the Last of Us Part 2 online will be coming after this single player when they get this game out. Patient and all that stuff. I don't think they're going to be added on in a single thing. It's going to be an update where you get the multiplayer added on to the game. Those are the updates that came out.
So I got another update. This is straight from Naughty Dog, and I'm going to read it to you. And this is a full press statement. This is their official press release. This is straight from Naughty Dog. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. We wanted to address multiplayer in The Last of Us Part 2. As we stated, the single-player campaign is far and away the most ambitious project Naughty Dog has ever undertaken. Likewise, as the development began on the evolution of our factions mode from The Last of Us Part 1, the vision of the team grew beyond an additional mode that could be included without enormous single-player campaign. Wanting to support both visions, we made the difficult choice that The Last of Us Part 2 would not include an online mode. However, you will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as part of The Last of Us Part 2. When and where it will be realized is still to be determined. But rest assured, we are a big fan of factions as the rest of our community and are excited to share more when it's ready. That's the official press release. It's not going to be part of The Last of Us 2. It's not going to be part of it.
The things that I said with the updates came after this statement from the game lead, single player, and multiplayer.
Yeah, that was the after everyone went rah rah rah. That was the statement that they put out there. But after that, the developers themselves have been trying to clarify, including Neil Druckmann tweeting out that to try to tell people what they're working on.
One statement. He says the multiplayer that's coming out. If you buy The Last of Us 2, you have access to this multiplayer.
Yeah,
that's all he needs to say, and then this whole thing will go away. The complaint is not.
Think it'll go away.
Yes, it will.
I don't think
because at this point, people would just be arguing semantics. Oh, it's not there. It's not day one. I don't care about that.
You got guys out there talking about
right now. We are like
Xbox for the single player. I only wanted the multiplayer.
I mean, it's literally Red Dead 2 all over again.
But listen, but Red Dead, at least in Grand Theft Auto, the multiplayer is included with the games. Yeah, it came out a month later, 2 months later. But when you bought the game, you got the multiplayer. With The Last of Us 2, we don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know anything at this moment.
What did you just say, though, Porter Rock? What did you just say? We don't know. That means
what I do know, that motherfucker's not coming with The Last of Us, right?
We can call it semantics. We can say, okay, even if it came out 2 days later, if it didn't have The Last of Us 2 name attached to it, if they called it The Last of Neil Druckmann, it still wouldn't be part of that series. So that's just all semantics.
You don't want
working on the multiplayer. That should be enough for the multiplayer guys to settle down knowing that it's coming.
El Matador 809, he says, thank you for super. He says PR77, they will add multiplayer with a patch, just like RDR2, not according to their statements. Thank you for the super chat, the Ravenflow. Sony got people with The Last Legacy after UC4. They got the full price retail instead of giving DLC. They got double the money, even though it's great. I think the game came out like $40, didn't they?
Yeah, it was $29.
It's not DLC. That was a standalone game.
But it was like $40.
It was supposed to be DLC, but like they said,
they made it bigger.
It was so big. It was so big. It just didn't make sense to just tack it on, and they ended up making its own. And to tell you the truth, that game was pretty fucking long too.
Yeah, that game was tight.
P-Rock, Boycott. Thank you for super chat, Flow. King Felix. P-Rock, boycott both single player, multiplayer, hypocrisy. Otherwise, I'm boycotting the multiplayer if they charge for it. If Sony comes out, hey, we got this banging multiplayer, it only costs $30. I'm like, it ain't gonna cost me $30 because I ain't getting it. I don't give a fuck.
I don't think. This is what I think. I don't think they're going to charge anybody for for the multiplayer, but you're going to see a lot of like cosmetic stuff. You're going to see a lot of microtransactions, just like every Naughty Dog game.
Well, no, I think they're going to charge, and I hope they do because they got to start. They got to separate the players from the non-players. If you want to play multiplayer, what's that? What's the name of that horrible game that Xbox is coming out with somebody that calls itself Buttercup? Go play that shit.
No. Okay? You remember when they was going to drop The Last of Us Remastered?
So excited!
Yeah,
excited! My man,
it's just kind of crazy. Like
he says, y'all just making excuses for Naughty Dog. Ponies do better. Yeah, that's right. Don't be sorry. Be better.
I'm not doing excuses. Look, this game is on 2 discs. Oh, go ahead with the super chat. I'm sorry, my bad.
Kilowatts. $2 super chat. He says, bro, they should have disclosed this from the jump. Agreed.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants.
Well, and again, let me say real quick, this game is on 2 discs, and I will be basking in the glory of getting brutal revenge. Everybody that played this game, like J-Dub was saying, say this game is brutal. Yeah. It is brutal. I'm going to do that. If somebody else is mad because they can't hide behind a car and go shoot a clicker with their best friend, I'm sorry.
Pay the bill. Pay the bill.
I'm saying, wasn't the first game brutal though?
This one is supposed to the press the first 3 hours. They said it's extremely brutal.
You go, hey, Alvin Heavy. He says P Rock, a traitor to the stables. Breaker's like, listen, I'm like Thanos. I'm the only one who knows. Right? I think that's it for the super chat. So let's continue. Here's my thing, yo. You know what? I hope Sony does fucking because I'm alive. I hope when Killzone comes out, they separate the multiplayer from that too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I hope they do it to all of it. I hope they do it to MLB. I hope when they make Gran Turismo 7, it doesn't come with online. I hope everything. I hope they take it all of it. Fuck it. Hey, yo, I'll let the world burn. I'm gonna be like,
don't look up to these guys. Come on.
Yo, I'm gonna fucking send an email. I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna send an email, Sony. I'll be like, Sony, I'm glad you made this decision. In fact, when Gran Turismo 7 comes out, can you do the same thing? Like focus on the single player Gran Turismo 7? I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna sabotage the fuck out of this. I'm gonna email Sony. I'll be like, Sony, great job on this decision. Can you do the same for Killzone? Because Killzone single player sucks. Can you just focus on Killzone single player and then sell the multiplayer separately? Do it for MLB, because MLB single player sucks. Do it all. I want everything. Separate everything.
Let me ask you this.
Separate it all.
Let me ask you this. Will you be playing The Last of Us 2 come February 21st, 2020?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Now ask me this. Now ask the Jacob, ask the second question. Ask me if I'm gonna play their multiplayer if they charge for it. Ask me that.
Will you play the multiplayer if it's free?
Yes. Free, yes. Free, yes. But keep going. Keep going.
3 out of 4 ain't bad, brother.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? If they took, my issue is not that it has multiple. My issue is they took content from the gamers. I'll give you a perfect example. I don't play fucking Gran Turismo. If Sony decided to get rid of the fucking franchise because they realize, you know what, racing games suck, I would not shed a tear. All right. But when I see a bad decision, when they said, hey, GT is going to be online only, I'm like, yo, that's fucked up. Because one, it takes you 10 years to make a GT game. So chances are you're not making a GT 7. This is probably going to be the only GT game for GT fans. And you're making it online only? That shit's not right. Especially when we fought this battle of online only shit with Xbox. And you're going to do this to their fans? I was siding with Gran Turismo fans on a fucking game I don't even like. I don't give a fuck about Gran Turismo, but it was a bad business practice. So I got my gamers back. I'm not going to wait till a company finally decides to make a bad decision that personally impacts me, because by the time that happens, it's too late. I'll have nobody else left to help fight the fight with me if I abandon everybody else when they needed me. So this is not about that.
But you shouldn't have jumped with that, because, like I said, like Turismo, they made it very clear what this game was going to be. People don't like to do their research. They say, "Oh, a new Gran Turismo is coming out."
But JB,
but guess what? They complained and Sony responded, right?
It's true.
Because you got to think about it. And you got to be. And keep in mind this. Right? What do we complain about Xbox a lot? That they don't understand.
They ain't got no game.
Listen, no, but because they don't understand their core. Because they don't understand their core audience. You know, they think. They don't understand no audience. I know, but now understand this. Gran Turismo is technically Sony's biggest franchise. You don't think releasing an online-only multiplayer might fuck over a lot of people? Like I'm asking, listen. Even if they were upfront with it, right? You don't think in the boardroom with the developers, they didn't think at any point, you know what? Online only may not be a good idea, because all our Gran Turismos is also supported by single player guys who like our campaign. Exactly. They're part of our fan base too.
Listen, they weighed that option, Puerto Rock, and guess what? It worked out for them. They sold 8 million copies at $60, not fucking Game Pass, but that means this is a side dish to their main franchise, and it sold more than Gran Turismo 6. Okay, so that sold 6 million.
All right, but is it? GT games. Let me ask you something, though. Yeah. Is Gran Turismo Sport the highest selling Gran Turismo? Not even fucking close.
The highest one was like Gran Turismo 2 and Gran Turismo 3.
Even 4 sold more.
Yeah,
the reason why Gran Turismo was selling lower and lower because they didn't meet the bar.
Let me ask you this: what console? But let me ask you this: what console did GT4 come out on?
The PlayStation 2.
Thank you. And that console, what? So fucking what? How many copies? 100. That was 150 million people, right? So of course that one sold more.
All right. So
but you got to look at it this way, right?
But with that logic, PS3 sold less than PS4. So then technically, you're right. It is going to sell less.
Yes. So think about it.
You defeated your own language. So let me ask you this.
That means more than GT5, GT6.
So let me ask you this. So which is more important? Sony selling 8 million or the game appeasing the fans? That was always their day one.
Puerto Rock, the sales is appeasing the fans. Obviously, how many copies did they? If you sell 8 million, listen. If you sell 8 million copies. That's 8 million fans you have, regardless. This is no user engagement shit. This is the sales. $60 they pay for that game. That means 8 million people went out and said, you know what? Even if this is not the Gran Turismo.
Hold on. You're speaking half truth because remember they added single player. They added single player content like within months. So that 8 million includes single player content.
Listen. I agree. I agree, but we're talking about the game.
You would have a point.
We're not talking about the semantics.
Listen, no. Listen, you would have a point.
8 million gamers are 8 million gamers.
But it includes single player content. You would have a point. Listen, you would
be right.
No, you would be right. And Sony stuck with their guns. No, you would be right if Sony stuck with their guns and said, we understand your complaints, but this is how GT Sport is. We're not changing it. Then you would be right, but they changed it.
Okay, listen. If you knew the difference between the previous Gran Turismo and Gran Turismo Sport, you'll notice they're still totally different. They added a offline mode, right? And they added they added the license to it, but there's still a whole other sector that this Gran Turismo Sport doesn't have that the previous ones does. So yes, they did add a offline mode because this game was strictly 100% online. Mm-hmm. In order to save anything, you had to be online. They added that, right? They added these features after the fact down the line. Mm-hmm. But this is still not a mainline Gran Turismo game that is coming.
But they addressed the issues people have with the game. Right?
They addressed some of the issues, yes. Which a developer should, which a corporation should, right?
And that's my point. That's my point. They address the issues, right? Because the fan base that loves the series.
So is Naughty Dog? So back to the whole line of what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Is Naughty Dog not addressing that?
Okay.
They put out a statement. They're saying we're working. So I just can't understand, right? If they said, look, I'm sorry, Tough TD, we're not going to do anything, then that would be one thing. But they are doing what Digital Polyphony did. They're trying to address that issue.
But they didn't address it appropriately. All they have to say is, hey, ladies and gentlemen.
That's according. Go ahead.
All they have to say, and I could have said this in just one tweet. Hey, Last of Us multiplayer is not coming at launch. It will come out. You will have access to it. It's just going to take more time because we're focusing on the single player. That's the situation. And then there you go. And then there you go.
That article where they said that.
They did not confirm.
They pretty much said that word for word.
No, they did not, because I got a statement here.
The developer said that, like literally word for word. What you just said. The developer said that. I'll send you the article. I'll send you his tweet of what he said.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
He said, "Be patient. It's coming. We're just going to take us some more time."
If you look at what they're saying, they're just saying multiplayer is coming. They're not saying it's part of The Last of Us 2. They're playing words with us.
Okay, we're arguing semantics, Porter Rock.
That's not semantics.
It is semantics.
Words mean something.
They have to say something exactly how
Porter Rock wants. Let me put it this way. They need to say a statement.
I want to reinstate myself. If we have to can pay for it, that's an L all day, every day. No excuse.
No, it's not.
But if we don't, and it's free Porter Rock,
gonna pay for it.
then we'll say it's okay.
We're gonna pay. Of course, if it's free, it's gonna pay. But I'm telling you, you're gonna pay for it because they're not giving. They're not
again,
giving.
again, we're going with semantics. That's make believe. We don't know that until it's confirmed.
No, it's easy. I already have. I have a statement here that says
the argument was there's no multiplayer. We're not getting multiplayer. Now we find out we're getting multiplayer.
No, I got a statement and I underlined it. The Last of Us Part 2 will not include online mode. This is Naughty Dog. I got it right here. Okay. Y'all can say what y'all want.
It's not a reference with Last of Us 2.
You see those red lines on the screen?
Last of Us 2.
Right there. Y'all can tell me whatever bullshit y'all want. Yeah. This is what they released. And I even underlined it.
I'm going to tag you with the lead.
He's saying it don't matter, Barry. He's saying it don't matter. What you tag?
That's what I'm trying to say.
It don't matter, Barry. This is
the truth. Let's be honest. When they come out with multiplayer and you have to pay for it, you guys are not gonna bash it. You guys are gonna come up with something new. Let's be honest.
No,
y'all gonna be like, well, you gotta understand. This stand of loss is huge and bigger than anything.
I just said live on air. I'm gonna pay for it. That's an L. I just said it live on air.
I'm still playing. I'll be honest with you.
The Last of Us.
But you're saying we're gonna have to pay for it before they even said that, right?
I'm saying that
because of what you're showing on the screen. Now I need you to show me on the screen where it says we're gonna have to pay for it.
I'm saying you're gonna pay
unless they're making a free to play game.
Just saying, I need to see it on the screen.
Unless they can't
argue with what you showed on the screen.
Unless they make a free to play game, because this is not part of The Last of Us, right?
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
What's your statement right there? What's your statement right there? What is the multiplayer called?
Huh? I don't know.
Faction.
Because they said right here.
Nothing to do with Last of Us.
They've already. It's called
the preface statement. It's in there.
It's called y'all are dumb for only this.
All it says is what you call it. The online, but not part of The Last of Us Part 2. It's not part of it.
Rest assured, we as big as fans of Faction as the rest of the community. Yeah, so, Factions is the name of the multiplayer.
Yeah, so they could just be taking the concept of Factions and now they're making it its own dedicated game.
It's going to be a part of The Last of Us 2.
It's not far fetched though, Jay. Bro, let me add this. It's not far fetched though, Bar. They did it with fucking The Last of Us, or not The Last of Us, Uncharted Lost Legacy. Remember how Lost Legacy was supposed to be just an additional DLC? They ended up being an own standalone game in a way. They could do that with Faction.
They're not going to believe you, no matter what. Even you got to proof underline in red. They still won't believe you.
Listen, I said the statement. I saw the statement.
Let me ask you, is it really that far-fetched for a company to be like, you know what? We could sell this multiplayer separately because it's dope.
Yeah,
is that far-fetched?
We're not even talking about.
No, because other companies do it. Why not? Yeah, of course, Puerto Rico, of course. But until that happens, right? I can't have fake outrage until that happens.
Look at it. You got to look at the other side of the coin.
Bro, people flip out over cigarettes. People flipped out. People flipped out that they didn't show. People
just to be funny versus to tease them versus real outrage. Come on now, we know.
People flipped out that they and this is the truth. People really flipped out that they didn't show single player campaign at E3. That was real. That was real outrage. That was not jokes.
Yeah,
100%.
No, that was
real. That was real
Xbox news.
That was real.
What the Xbox community do within their own community is their business, sir.
Yeah, they were talking.
Oh no, you guys were all up in it. You guys were all up in it, and that was not fake. That was not fake out. That was not fake out. You know, single player campaign, not shown at E3. That was everybody. Everybody was mad at that.
Look, they are talking about a white rag named clothes and a battle frog. They are talking about battle frogs and a white rag named Pool.
Let me ask you another thing.
We're talking about The Last of Us.
And this is not the first time we went through this. Was there not outrage that Black Ops 4 removed single player?
Yeah, there was. That was the first time they done it.
Outrage on that.
Yeah, and in that game.
Oh, stream it off.
But that's my thing here. That's my
streams offline.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Now it's back.
That's
coming in. if people don't buy, if they cancel the pre-orders and stuff, they're gonna feel it and they would change it. Until then, listen to guys scream and complain on Twitter is just false when they're seeing that the pre-orders are constantly going up and they're breaking records. The pre-orders are already outsold God of War and Spider-Man's records.
Yeah, so let me ask you this.
That's not the issue.
So then why they call then why they Call of Duty add back single player? Because Black Ops 4 sold amazing.
This is a whole different game. Again, it goes back to that Black Ops 4 did not have single player story, and it outsold the previous one that did, the previous game. So that's just, again, we yell about Madden every year. It's the same. We yell about 2K every year, and then the new game always outsells. It's because what you say online is different than you walking in that store picking it up or spending your money. Until you stop spending your money, change will not come. And that's just what it is. I've said for those guys who have played Uncharted and played The Last of Us and were looking forward to it and they love it, they deserve to not buy this game in protest with their wallet. Make the companies feel it. Until then, just being mad online is not really doing anything when they're seeing, because I said, hey, are you still going to buy the game? Yeah, I'm still buy the game, but I'm still mad. I'm like, but okay, well, if you're really mad, right, in order to make a corporation feel it, you have to hit them in the wallet. If not, they're going to continue doing this shit too.
You're right. Let me add this. It's like saying my girlfriend or wife cheated on me, but she can still get the deed. So either you vote with your wallet, or either you vote with your wallet, or you just shut up.
Oh, come on.
Majority of people are going to play the single player regardless if they're mad about the multiplayer.
100%. It's all about the single player. But like I said, people were capping for the multiplayer. They were talking that shit. They were saying it's better than Gears, Halo.
Well, so what? It is better than Gears and Halo.
The multiplayer for Last of Us is really good.
Yeah, Gears.
Listen. Nobody. I honestly don't think anybody on this panel think that it's okay for them to not have the multiplayer. They promised it. Minus Craig, right? They promised it, and I think they need to deliver. So I'm speaking for the guys who do, right? Who think like me. It's wrong for Naughty Dog and for Sony to not deliver something that they promised. But at the same time, we have to hold their feet to the fire. And whether that means that we remove our pre-order or whatever we got to do to make them feel
there's too many people that's going to get that.
Turn around and buy the game and make it sell another 20 million, 30 million.
It's not going to work because, like I said, majority of the people, a lot of people don't care about multiplayer because that's pretty much PlayStation staple.
So we're saying that Naughty Dog and Sony calculated the risk of more people having way more people who are interested in that single player and will still buy it versus the ones who were interested in the multiplayer and won't buy it.
Yeah. They're two
That's the calculated risk they have, right? Activision did the same thing with Call of Duty. It's all a calculated risk.
And now here's my question. At what point, when will they stop taking that calculated risk? That's my concern.
Listen. But for the same thing with Madden, right? We all cry. We want 2K to make a football game, but Madden keep buying the license for it. And they keep giving us the same shitty game, changing the name and changing the rosters every single year. It's the same game. But they've been doing it for 25 years. When will we take a stand as gamers and stop supporting it with our dollars?
Well, I don't buy Madden.
The thing is,
I'm just saying, 2K, right? You may be a 2K guy. It's the same thing. You get a brand new 2K at the beginning of generation, and everything after that is the same exact game with roster updates and loot crates.
And again, White Zaddy gave Gears of War Game of the Year. They had Gears, God of War Game of the Year, and it does not have multiplayer. Spider-Man is the most successful IP. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Hold on, I'm cooking. I'm not done yet. Spider-Man's the most successful IP this generation, and it does not have multiplayer. So J-Dub is right. The risk. I am cooking, sir. Zip it. You brought up Gears of War, fucking Halo.
You're cooking on your. You're cooking up shitty ass food. Right now you cook. Right now you in McDonald's. You in McDonald's fucking cook right now. You cooking up some shitty ass burgers.
Well, that's fine.
You're letting the burgers fall on the floor and you're putting it back on the bun. all this nasty ass shit you cooking around. You cooking up some nasty shit.
The fact is, their most successful IPs this gen don't have multiplayer. That's a fact. Let's just can we just leave it? Can we all admit that this Spider-Man is one of the most successful IPs this gen? No multiplayer. God of War won Game of the Year according to White Zaddy, not to me.
Well,
White Zaddy gave it Game of the Year.
Craig,
no multiplayer.
It's different, right? It's two different things, right? It's not about a single player game selling. It's about a company promising something.
We already told him that, and he's still repeating the same thing.
But they also said that things changed during production. Yeah. They already dealt with this, did they not say that?
Yeah. Let me ask you. And what changed is they took content away from the gamer. That's what changed.
Do you reckon?
Okay.
Do you
but they added multiplayer
because they were taking too long? What do you have to
let me pay the bills. Glorious War says Last of Us factions might be free to play. I don't see Sony making a free to play, but Young Boy Gib,
they're gonna charge you all.
Because if you look at a lot of the free to play, they all have that animated cartoony graphics, like Fortnite, Dauntless, Apex. None of them have like the Last of Us Uncharted graphics. They have that cartoony looking shit.
The online faction is going to be a part of the game. It's going to have multiplayer. It's going to have microtransactions. It's going to have you can buy guns.
Young Boy Gib. Remember, Sony said The Last of Us 2 will be a PS4 title. People spent $400 on a PS4 for that notion alone. The backlash would be worse if The Last of Us 2 became a PS5 title. Well, it's launching February, so we know it's not.
It's close.
But P-Rock, do you reckon it dropped the multiplayer because it was taking too long?
What happened?
So they probably dropped it because it was taking too long. The multiplayer.
No, they already said they were in crunch time mode.
They trying to make $120 off the something that made 60.
Oh shit!
So excited. He says,
looking at the new stuff.
In that defense, every other company do it with their games,
and we don't take it from every other company. We talk that shit.
We do. We do take it, and we spend that money, right? We spend that money. And it always outsells the previous game. We keep giving them the money. We can talk all day till we're blue in the face, but we keep giving them money.
But here's my thing:
we're not really that mad. How mad? Listen, how mad are you? Like if you go to the corner store, right, and buy something, and the store owner, whatever's talking shit to you, put a rock. Hate when you come in here and yada yada yada. You always playing your music. You come in here, you're talking loud, yada yada yada. He's talking shit to you, but you keep coming back spending your money, right? How mad are you that he keeps talking shit?
Yeah,
he better not be talking shit on spending money. I'll be like, fuck you. I'll slap the shit out of him. I'm gonna be like that dude. I don't pay for shit. I got a bald head. I'll be like, I'm gonna come in your store. You gonna talk to me like, motherfucker, get the cat off the goddamn bread. Why you always have the damn cat laying on the bread?
Shout out to the chat.
Fucking walking up, there you go. Motherfucker's cat is sleeping on the goddamn bread. I'll be looking at fucking Poppy. I'll be like, mira, coño, bro. The fucking cat's on the goddamn bread.
Hey, Puerto Rico.
Motherfucker reply, he live here.
Goddamn.
This motherfucker be fucking goddamn fucking
hit the like button, guys.
Goddamn Jose looking at me. Well, the cat lives here. I'm like, motherfucker, but he on the goddamn bread. Yo, so excited. Shout out Super Cat. He says, if y'all casuals didn't play The Last of Us multiplayer like that, y'all opinion doesn't mean shit. Hardcore Last of Us fans are the ones who played the multiplayer for years after launch.
Speak with your wallet, brother.
Listen, I got your back, dog. Everybody, PlayStation. Hey, I got your back. Everybody else in PlayStation Nation is selfish.
That's right.
Yeah, that's some selfish.
Bottom line is, Impatient Fire in the chat is correct. If you're that mad, cancel your pre. That's the best thing for you to do. Just cancel it. Don't play it because you want multiplayer.
That's a bad attitude, man. Because if you have a grievance with something about a game, you should be able to voice your opinion about it.
Oh yeah,
especially if you're a fan about it.
Okay, I understand.
That's nobody in this community talk about it.
What I'm saying
is, yo, Ryan, what you said, Ryan? Go ahead.
Nah, there's a problem with this community in general. Like every time you try to voice your opinion, when something's not happening the way it should fucking happen. Let's be real here. This game originally had multiplayer. Yeah. Now it's not going to have multiplayer day one, right?
Yeah.
We're voicing our opinions based off of what we got previously.
Yes.
Right? We're not getting it right now. The fact that we cannot be upfront and just say, hey, look, this is bad. We want this to fucking be in the next one without motherfucker going, oh, no. You ain't play this one. You ain't play that. No.
Yeah, that don't make any sense.
That mean no fucking sense. You should be able to at least say what the fuck you want to say on your mind.
Even if you never even cared about buying this game, you still have your own opinion about the situation, because it could be yet, like what Porter Rock said, it could be another game in the future that comes out with this same mentality.
Exactly.
Where these guys are going to be like, fuck it.
Like I mentioned GT Sport, right? Again, I don't give a fuck about that game, right? But if we let Sony slide on that, what's another competitive game they have that they could be like, you know what, we're going to try to make this into a big esport?
Well, here's the thing. Let me ask you.
Sony could prop up MLB The Show as a big esport to compete with Madden and NBA 2K, because those shits are huge online. Sony could be like, you know what? We're gonna make MLB online only to push big esport.
But let me ask you this though, right? Because that's a good question. No, that's a good question, but I want to answer. At what point though that the crossroads come where the gamers start dictating the creativity of what a company want to deliver? It's different if somebody's giving you No, hear me out. That's different if a company is taking stuff out versus and they already told you that, versus, look, we have created a esports league. We want to create content that's specifically focused towards this crowd. We're going to do that. But then these people over here that don't play esports are mad and crying and at what point do we take that creativity out of their hand? Because to tell you the truth, it goes back to Gran Turismo Sport. They told me up front that this game is a different game. It's catered to the esports crowd, which is me, right? That fits me. That fits my narrative. That's exactly what I want. I want to be able to race with Ryan and Lincoln Clay and all those guys online and have fun and racing tournaments. That's what I do. That's what I want. That fits me. Now I get it, right? It doesn't appeal to the casual people who normally play the Forza Motorsports or the Forza Horizon. But how do we
so let me ask you this.
Sony from stop doing stuff that they really want to do?
Let me ask you this. So you got longtime fans that play GT1 from the start.
Yes.
Let's say some people, that's the number one reason for PlayStation. They play GT1, GT2,
100%.
GT3, GT4, GT5, GT6. Then Sony decides the next GT, and it's going to be the only GT available, is specific for the esports crowd, but they're not esports. So what about them? What happens to them then? What do they do?
Well, see, here's the thing,
guys who supported the franchise day one.
I'm going to answer that. I'm going to answer that,
what do they get out of it?
We talked about it earlier. The calculation of, look, back then when they had GT6 and they had GT5 and GT4, we didn't have a robust online and esports community. Esports wasn't even a thing when GT6 was out. Now we do. We have the technology. We have a robust online system.
Okay,
we have tournaments.
I understand that, but what I'm asking you is
manufacture licenses, right? That'll give you a real world racing license by doing it.
But I'm asking you, what about those gamers that's been down with the franchises day one? What happens to them? I'm asking you, what happens to them?
I'm going to tell you.
Fuck them.
And for those people, just like Digital Polyphony said, you're going to have to wait until GT7.
But that's not coming out on PlayStation 4. That's PlayStation 5.
Come on. I agree with you, but it's still going to be available for those guys on PS4. I mean, you got backwards compatibility anyway. Even if they decide
that's like Xbox saying, "Don't worry, the games are coming." That's like that doesn't count for Xbox One.
Listen,
it doesn't count.
It's GT7 out.
Okay,
it's not out, right?
Okay,
it's not out yet. We know it's coming. They talk about it all the time. They tell you the stuff that they're doing.
It's 6 years. What do they get?
The thing is, people
every generation. How often does Gran Turismo games come out?
More than once.
It's every 5 years. Every 5 years. It's like a long time.
And what they do, they always put out a smaller game. Because when 5 came out, there's Prologue. Yes. Prologue wasn't a full game.
It wasn't a full game.
Still bought it.
But my question is, let's say GT Sport. Let's say if they did exactly what it was. It's only for the esports guys. My question is, what happens to the core audience that supported your game. What do they get out of it? So fuck them.
What happens to the esports crowd, the big booming crowd that's going on right now, right? These 8 million people, these 8 million GT Sport buyers that race online with the esports. What happens to them? Because that's a trend, right? That's what I'm saying. They calculated that risk already, Puerto Rock.
Let me ask you
this. They knew
that
this would happen, right? They calculated that.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. You play GT Sport. You're telling me GT Sport's not possible if they added single player campaign? You're telling me like single player interferes with the GT Sport online
what I'm saying is they already said that game that you're looking for, Puerto Rock, is coming. That's the next game. This is not even a mainline Gran Turismo game. This is a whole different game. This is like the Forza Horizon.
You would have a point, but the thing is, Microsoft makes both quickly. So like, let's say if you don't like, let's say
those games don't sell nearly enough as Gran Turismo game. It's a totally different crowd.
But there's people. All right, they don't sell. You're right. They
crank these things out every year.
You are right. They don't sell, but there are 12 million people that are playing Forza Horizon 4. They're playing it.
I get it. And there's 8 million people who are playing it who actually bought the game.
What I'm saying is,
there's going to be
what I'm saying is, you have to cater to your audience that's been supporting you. You can't.
But they're saying that. Listen, they're saying that. Listen, we have and this goes back to my point, right? As a company and a developer, if I'm working on a product, right? Like, for example, people are saying right now with Microsoft, we're tired of Halo, Gears, and Forza. Can we get the Halo team or the Forza team to make a different game and do something different? All right, you asked for that creativity. You asked for something different. Well, when they finally do something different, you're like, no, I don't like that because I want the old, like, we can't tell this company to not do something that they think is going to be successful that's new because the old crowd don't like the new. They have to make that risk. We know that we're focused on the esports crowd. This is specifically for that. This is not a GT7. We're working on GT7.
Okay, Jay, let me ask you
They said that.
Yeah, but when's it coming out?
When GT7 comes, right? When GT7 comes, that's that crowd. They'll have their game. They'll have all their modes. They'll be happy. And GT Sport can be that second game. So every other 2 or 3
let me ask you this. When is GT7 coming out?
It's supposed to be coming out at launch PS5.
Okay, so let's say
if you go to GT Planet, they have all this information about it, screenshots. They have what they're going to do in the game, how it's going to be tailored, how they're adding all the modes. They talk about this thoroughly.
So let's say November 2020, GT7 comes out. So you're telling me a GT fan? So a GT fan has to wait 7 years for the GT game that they were
Yes, go ahead.
No, I'm saying so a GT fan has to wait 7 years to get the GT game they want to play.
Pretty much, yes.
You lose.
That's always been Sony. That's
not. You know what?
Sony has always only launched 2 games, 2 racing games, 2 Gran Turismos per generation. This will be the first generation where they only actually launched 1. And obviously they're launching it just like they did GT6 at the tail end of a generation.
This is nothing new to Gran Turismo.
But here's the thing, though.
This has always been the case.
No, but hold up.
They always drop a smaller game before the big one.
Hold up. But you guys are talking about creating a Gran Turismo that doesn't cater to the normal Gran Turismo car. You're talking about a game that's catering to a completely new audience of esports gamers.
So you're telling me Sony cannot create a esports. They need to just skip esports. Forget about esports.
I'm not saying
Don't
that.
even focus on esports because you're going to piss off the crowd, right?
What I'm saying is, if you're going to do that, then have a plan to also cater for the crowd that's been there for day one.
Why can't you do that plan? They said what the plan is. It's GT7
for 7 years. So you ask out your other fans for 7 years with nothing.
Puerto Rock. And let me explain this, brother. In every generation, Gran Turismo they only ever released a game in the middle of the generation and at the ass end.
But
they released Gran Turismo 4 in the middle of the generation, and GT7 is coming at the ass end.
Yes, but
what is different now?
Because the game you're talking about is not catering to the audience that's been there for day one. That's the difference.
Like
for example,
okay, let me tell you
for example, I'm gonna put it to you.
I'm a simulation. I'm a realistic simulation racing kind of guy, right? I'm not an arcade racing guy. So Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon does not cater to me. So I'm a Forza Motorsport guy. So I don't get that game every year like I want to. Luckily for me, Microsoft dropped them shits every year, every other year. But Gran Turismo has never did that. They never crank these shits out. All the damn time. That's not the company. That's not what they do. As a matter of fact, it's detrimental.
But what you're not seeing is
detrimental to Microsoft to do that.
The two games that they created, right, before esport, right, catered to the audience that's always been there. For example, GT5, GT6, right? Those were the only two that came out for PlayStation 3, right?
3. That's correct.
But they catered to the PlayStation 2 fan base that supported 3 and 4, right?
Because they had no choice. Okay. They didn't have. There was no such thing as called esports. But esports is new.
They just started
this.
But that's what I'm saying. This generation. If you're going to create if you're going to cater to a new audience, right? Which is cool. Yeah. I'm not saying don't cater to a new audience, but you should also be able to appease the audience that supported you from day one. To shit on the audience that's with you day one, that's not right. There are dudes with PlayStations from day one that supported that franchise. Yeah. And I'm talking about games across the board. They supported PlayStation 1, they supported PlayStation 2, they supported PlayStation 3. Then when they get PlayStation 4, you tell them, we're going to focus on somebody else. And they're going to be like, what the fuck?
Listen.
Be honest.
I'm going to use this analogy, Porter Rock. Check this out, right? Did you play SOCOM back in the day?
Hell yeah.
You were a big SOCOM guy, right? Yeah. Did you play MAG back in the day? You a big MAG guy?
No.
Okay, but you're a big SOCOM guy. Everyone loved SOCOM. Everyone's been begging for a SOCOM.
Up until
it's been fucking 20 years since been asking. What happened to that crowd? To that SOCOM crowd?
We got asked out, and we've been
exactly.
And we've been
you got asked out.
But listen, there's a difference between a franchise that disappeared. Because Zipper's no longer around. They got disbanded.
Yeah.
So even the studio that would make the game is gone, right? That's not the case with Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is Sony's most successful franchise by far.
Yeah.
There is no franchise. The biggest, most successful franchise. You understand what I'm saying? And it's built on the people that was there day one. I'm not saying don't support the esport crowd. What I'm saying is don't fucking destroy the people that's been with you day one that supported the franchise.
But
that's
here's
just
the thing,
wrong,
right?
Bro. You know what I'm saying?
Esports dropped about 4 to 5 years ago. That's when the esports got big, right? And so it's something that's new. They said, you know what? We need to capitalize while the fire is hot. We're going to capitalize with a side dish that is Gran Turismo. And coming to find out, there's 8 million people that love that side dish in esports. So in that transition time, right, in making a brand new IP, something totally different, right? That could sit on the side like a Gran Turismo, like a Forza Motorsport and a Forza Horizon sit side by side. This is new. They're creating that lane, but that lane, right? They got to create one. If they focus on Gran Turismo 7, they'll never get to the esports. You'll never, because you got to keep fueling that fire. They decided to make this take this time, make the basis of Gran Turismo Sport, so they can do the Gran Turismo 7 to include all the modes and everything else so they can have 2 top tier games there. But they explain this, and if you go to GT Planet, I mean, and again, I'm an enthusiast, so maybe. That's why I see it different, and I see them being transparent with what folks are actually going to get and what they've been doing for this time. So,
out of all the GT games, that's the weakest game in the series.
Huh?
The lowest Metacritic game that is the GT Sport.
Yeah, it is the lowest Metacritic, but it's sold more than the last 3 games.
Go on, P-Rock, take that shit.
So it's just like Days Gone. Well, listen, everybody says Days Gone should have been an 85, 86 Metacritic game. But what happened when it first launched? It was buggy, and you only get a first impression. So who cares? Just like GT Sport, you only get a first impression. When it launched, it had bugs, yada yada yada, issues. All right, fine, but 88 million people decided that this game was up their avenue with this whole esports stuff.
Because
there's a crowd for that. That's not saying that they're getting rid of the grant. They're forgetting all of these other people. They're making that game. That game is coming, and it's coming soon.
The game is coming 7 years later, and it's not good enough, Jay. Come on.
Okay. So wait, they just launched Gran Turismo Sport. If that's not the game for you, you're gonna have to wait another. Like, if you guys have ever played Gran Turismo or been a fan of Gran Turismo, you know, like clockwork when these games are coming. It's not nothing new. It's their biggest franchise. It's something that they've always done.
This is like that's like
I don't understand why it's so puzzling.
This has been going on since the franchise started. They always have like a
Sean, do you play Gran Turismo or do you play Gran Turismo Sport? No, you probably last time you played it was PS1. So we're gonna sit you to the side, right?
No, I played it, but because the Forza game took over them, that's why. Because they want the decent.
I get that. Well, they have a game for you, just like Dumb Matcher said. We have a game.
I'm gonna have to call out J Dub's fake news because GT5 sold 12 million, and that was on the lower selling platform PlayStation 3. Carry on.
It sold 12 million. Are you sure?
Yep, I'm looking at it right now on GT Planet because you said GT Planet. So let me look at GT Planet. And
let's go.
Just shy 12 million, 11.94 to be exact. Okay, and so
you actually proved my point.
GT5
because GT6. Wait, no, listen. Yeah. GT6 sold less than GT5.
Yeah,
and for a game that is focused on esports, a crowd that nobody cared about, something totally different, they were able to sell 8 million copies, which is more than the last game, right? So what does that say?
I'm just saying.
Look at the wait between 4 and 5.
Yeah,
like 6 years.
Yes.
Yeah, they take their time with that game. I don't
think about it. Last generation lasts how long? Last generation lasts how long? 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years.
Fucking 19 years. That was long.
And when did GT6
that was a long time.
GT6 launched, if I remember correctly, GT6 launched December of 2013. So PlayStation 4 was already here.
Yeah, PS4.
Right? No, so let me ask you this.
It launched actually before.
No.
Yeah.
You've been passing a lot of fake news.
Come on, Professor.
You've been passing a lot of fake news. You've been pulling.
Professor.
You acting like post up in this podcast right now.
No.
And I was right. December 6th, 2013. Gran Turismo 6 came out December 6th, 2013. So you're telling me a game that came out after PS4 launch? Who gives a fuck about a PS3 game when the PS4 is on? No one cares.
How many people cared? How many people cared to buy that game?
Nobody cares.
6 million? 7 million?
4 million.
6 still.
4 million.
Gran Turismo 6 still sold well due to the fact that the PS4 was more.
But that's what I'm saying, Jabari.
4 million.
Listen,
I would say GT6 sales, a huge impact was one. At that point, nobody really cared. A lot of people didn't really care because PlayStation 4 is here, and people want the game.
You gotta be a part of that community to know.
2013 December. Stop it. December 2013. We were too busy bashing Xbox on 720p. All right, more people were enjoying that. So. Come on.
I wasn't.
Well, anyway, PlayStation 5, 12 million.
Yes.
That's actually, when you think about it, Gran Turismo sales are double digits. Most of them are 10 million or more. So when you sell less than 10 million, you're kind of like average.
So GT6 sold 6 million copies, right? So it went down from GT5. It went down, and then it went back up because you got GT Sport for a game
that's not even a main game.
It was only. It didn't have any cars.
Number one, the online only lasted 2 months. They fixed that. They didn't still.
They added.
That's what I'm saying. They added it. They fixed it.
It's still a totally different game, Porter. Right? It's still. Listen,
here's another
if you ever played any Gran Turismo game and you play Gran Turismo Sport, you know they two totally different.
Here's the thing. It's not like you have any other options either. What other better racing game on PlayStation is there? Die Club.
Listen. That's that calculated risk.
You got nothing else. That's not calculated risk.
We talked about it just at the beginning.
That's not calculated risk.
Anytime you create a new product, you have a calculated risk. When they made Titanfall 1, an online only game, right? no single player story for that game. They made a calculated risk. What did they do with Titanfall 2? They ended up including making it offline and including the single player story mode. And what happened? That shit didn't even sell. So each company has to make a calculated risk. But you can't say, well, we can never be innovative and never focus on a particular market that's upcoming and new, because we got to drag the old fogey.
We gotta expose Titanfall 1, by the way. It's not even the top 10 Xbox exclusive.
Here's the thing, but you're talking about the old fogey that helped sell these games over 10 million. That's not right. That's why I don't understand. You're talking about the people that made Gran Turismo the biggest franchise. I could understand if it was like bullshit numbers, like 1 or 2 million, and now you're trying to take the franchise to a higher level.
I agree.
I could understand like if Gran Turismo was only 1 or 2 million selling game, and you're thinking, you know why? Esport is gonna make this into a fucking 10 million seller. I get that. But you're talking about the people that
practically did. 8 million?
No.
Practically did.
But before that, you were getting 12, 14. I think at one point, one of them was 19.
6. Come on,
and what about,
be truthful.
And what about before that? And before that, what?
Before that, you got 6. You didn't get 12 before that.
No, before 6, what did you get?
That's before
and what did you get 4? And what did you get with 3?
I don't know.
Okay.
Porter, right? You got
listen, you're talking about
a mainline GT game.
At this point, listen. If it's your only GT game, it's mainline for PlayStation 4 because you got no other option. You got nothing else.
That's like saying the
they can never
game was a mainline.
Sony can never. So that means companies can never try anything new. Never. They can never. That means companies can never try anything new.
I'm
they
not
have to
saying
stick
that. I'm saying
So basically, what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is you don't ask out.
You don't think that's impressive, Porter? You don't think that's impressive? What GT Sport did?
No, it's good sales, but guess what? I care more about the gamer than Sony's corporate cucks. Than fucking the stockholders.
Listen,
they drive.
The gamer is the 8 million.
Listen,
the gamer is the 8 million.
And where's the other 4 and 5 million that usually are there?
Listen, GT6 sold 6 million copies. You keep focusing on the old and not what's right.
And you listen. GT6 by itself didn't make it the biggest franchise. You know what I'm saying? It's like GT6 came out December 2013.
That doesn't matter,
bro. That's not.
That was their previous game. You got to compare a game to the previous game. If that's the case, let's compare. If that's the case, let's compare. Right? We're gonna compare GT Sport to GT1. Let's do that. If you're gonna want to do that, you might as well.
You don't want to do that because you don't want to do because GT1 will destroy GT.
Exactly. But I'm saying you got to compare apples to apples. You're trying to compare something before something else. They calculated their risk, right? GT6 sold 6 million copies, so they said, "Damn, we made half of our install base."
So let me ask you this:
this may be the perfect time for us to try something new since the series has dropped by half. 12 to 6, that's a sharp drop. That has nothing to do with GT Sport, right?
Yeah,
Can you agree with that?
Yeah, but the game came. The game came out December 2013 when it's all about the PlayStation 4.
All the games.
Let me put it this way. That day was so irrelevant that you as a GT fan didn't even remember when it came out. I remember because I remember knowledge.
I said it came out at the end. I said it came out at the end of the generation because every generation.
Info is what I do. So I remember GT Sport came out at a time when nobody was talking about.
I was off by 2 weeks, Porter. I was off by 2 weeks.
The point is, it came out at a time when everybody's talking about PlayStation 4. No one's talking about PlayStation 3 anymore. All information online.
But that has
it would have been better. Listen, to be honest. Releasing that game that late in the game, it would have been better if GT6 was a PlayStation 4 game. At that point,
they have always done like. So what's the strategy now that's different than what they did with the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1? I don't get it. Like,
but Jay,
I've played, right? I've always been a big fan, and I've always owned and played for thousands of hours these games like clockwork. The schedule and everything that the way it comes out has always been the case. Nothing's new. You acting like something is new. Nothing's new. So I don't understand the argument.
You mean it improved?
You had a game that sold 6 million copies, and your next satellite game sold 8 million copies. People are mad now? Like, I don't get it.
You keep going back to the sales.
What?
No, sales are directly the install base. The sales is the install base. You got 8 million people that bought the game. That is your install base.
Because you mixed up the whole thing. Because number one, GT Sport caters to both online and single player guys. So I don't think so. It did. So I don't think it did.
Go to the website right now. They'll tell you they cater to the esports crowd.
You're saying single player guys, so it's not going to enjoy GT Sport. It doesn't have content for them.
Listen, Porter Rock, right? If you play that game single player, right? If you play a single player, it doesn't have a story. It doesn't have all the content that the previous ones do. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's not the same. It's not like they made GT Sport into GT7. That's not what happened. They don't even have all the cars. A mainline GT has like 1,000 fucking cars.
But the main reason why it doesn't have all those cars because they have.
That's why I don't get it. It's totally different.
The main reason they don't have all the cars because they have to build them. I remember that shit. I remember that was a big stinker. A lot of cars was bullshit.
Listen, so the games this game, GT Sport caters to the real life GT4 and GT3 in Le Mans cars. That's what they cater to. These are real life racing cars. That's what you're racing online. Like if you're a racing guy and this is the real shit. Okay. This is why you're able to get your real life racing field license. So you're saying they calculated that. They're making the game that.
So then it's all right. So then it's all right for the company to ask out the consumer base that's always supported them. Fair statement.
I would say that,
right.
And I'm going to.
At least you said yeah.
Listen, they calculated. Yes, I agree. They calculated. They made a calculated risk.
He said yeah.
But I have to say that because they made the calculated risk. We want to focus on esports while in time. We want to have an option. That means Sony would never be able to compete with Microsoft when it comes to Forza Horizon or Forza Motorsports because they consistently have to make these just the mainline game. That's the dilemma you put them in.
I didn't put them in dilemma. I'm just saying you could do both.
That's the dilemma that they're in.
See, right now, you guys are giving the impression that Sony is limited on what they're able to do now. Before we praise them on being versatile to do multiple projects, create multiple IPs, do multiple things.
We're talking about digital. We're talking about digital polyphony.
And that's the thing.
They made GT1. Listen, the same team that made GT1.
I'm gonna be real.
The same team that made GT1 has made every single Gran Turismo game. So I don't get it.
I'm gonna be real. We give shit to Xbox Studios, but Polyphony Digital is the sorriest studio out there. They take forever to fucking make games, and they're fully funded like everybody else. Everybody else is making 2 or 3, and I get it. They only make fucking racing games, just like San Diego Studio only make baseball games. But they make a game every single year. Hold up. I'm saying, listen. Let me finish. Let me finish. What I'm saying is, San Diego Studios, they have to make a game every year, right? But let's say if Polyphony Digital wanted to focus on esports, right? Because they want to do this big thing. Are you telling me that they can't also push out GT7 in a timely manner?
They are. I just told you that.
7 years.
Come on,
tell me what you.
Come on, Jay, man.
Tell me. Listen. Tell me. What generation has these guys not made a game in the middle, game of the end? Tell me what generation.
7 years.
GT Sport came in the middle of this generation, and GT7 is coming at the end. What is different? You're looking at 7 years, but the last generation extended fucking 10 years, pretty much. So you got to compress that. The matter of the fact is every single Gran Turismo game has come in the middle of a generation and at the ass end, and nothing's different from this generation than last generation. I don't get it. I just don't understand.
7 years, bro. 7 years, man.
Let me see something.
Well, I mean, again, a lot of it is there's not another competing studio that Sony has that's making a driving game. Drive Club, and they shut that studio down. Who makes that game?
Yeah, I mean, they used to have the other arcade, so the MotorStorm and stuff.
Those are gone. Those are come back.
Does the Polyphony step up the game?
That game is fine, sir.
Digital Polyphony, they're good. That's still Sony's flagship. So
that's the flagship studio.
If they're able to shit out, if they're able to shit off a sideline esports game and sell 8 million copies, imagine what the GT7 is going to. They saw the decline from obviously Porter Rock proved it. They saw the decline from GT5 from 12 million to GT6 6 million. So they thought it was probably a perfect time to try this esports stuff, and it paid off for them. They went back up to 8. Now the GT7 can pull it back up. Simple.
GT7 better deliver that.
Hey, I want to report more fake news that J-Dub reported. He said it always happened. Gran Turismo 3 released in 2001. And Gran Turismo 4 released on the PlayStation 2, same system.
Yeah,
three.
In the middle of the generation and at the ass end. That's what I said.
So Gran Turismo.
That's what I said.
No, okay.
I said the middle.
Yeah, you said the middle. So okay, listen. So the middle of generation of PlayStation 2 is actually 2003, 2004. Gran Turismo 3 launched a year after PlayStation 2 launched. So that is not the middle.
What year is that?
That was 2001. 2001. All right. So PlayStation. When did
PlayStation 2?
October 2000. So really a couple of months after launch, to be honest, because GT3 launched July of 2001. So not even a year.
Okay.
So that's fake news number one. So that's fake. A year off. You're more like 2-3 years off. So that's fake news number one. Fake news number two. Gran Turismo 4, the sequel to PlayStation 2, launched in 2004. PlayStation 3 came out in 2006. So the second game of Gran Turismo came out 2 years before the next generation console. That is all. Reporting fake news. Reporting fake news.
Keep going.
And that's it. Why do I need to keep going? I proved you wrong. You said it. Always did it. Always did it. Now, I would say Gran Turismo's bad cycle had more to deal with the cell processor because everybody had issues. Everybody had issues. All right? Games took no. There's a reason why PlayStation 3 is not backwards compatible on PlayStation 4. And it isn't because Sony doesn't want it. It isn't that.
I agree with
cell
that.
Processors
I agree with that. With the cell processor, but they still were able to crank out 2 games that generation.
And the development took longer. It just took longer.
Oh, Jay, no, I can't believe you let Porter Rock just nitpick you like that.
I got him.
Not let you give you Gran Turismo release.
Jay Barry, he said the statement.
He's not a racing guy. He's not a racing guy. As a matter of fact, he's an anti-racing guy. So I get it.
Jay Barry, didn't J-Dub not say it's always been that way? He said those words. I didn't say those words.
You gotta also look at the first. Look at the first Gran Turismo and the second when those came out. They came out.
Listen, I get it. I get the point that he's making. Right, I get the point that he's making. But me as a Gran Turismo racing fan, right? There's 2 games every single year, every single generation. What has changed? I'm only asking. What has changed? He's acting like something has magically changed because I say the only make one game that's for the esports and one that's for the main crowd.
I would say the only thing that changed, if you want to look at it, is that every Gran Turismo that came out prior to the esport was catering to the fan base that was there day one. They flipped the script and want to cater to a whole new fan base. With no consideration to the people that was there.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, right? And I'm a racing guy, and this is part of one of my critiques with Forza, with Microsoft doing with Forza. When you buy a car, Toyota Corolla, right? The 2019 Toyota Corolla is going to have the same body, the same interior as the 2018 model, and probably be the 2020 model and 2021. You don't need to make a damn racing game every single year because nothing changes. Once you have the real life tracks, the real life cars, they don't make brand new cars every single year. These cars are on development cycles. You need to wait for them to come out with new product because if not, it's the same fucking shit, which is why Forza 4 didn't really sell, Forza 6 really didn't sell, and Forza 7 sold fucking 1.5 million. It's because it's the same thing. So what Digital Polyphony do, right, on their cycles, they give time in between to give you something new because if they crank them out like you want, Porter Rock, every single year, every other year,
I didn't say that though.
I'm just saying.
No, but you said if you want. I never said that, so don't say if you want. I'm not saying that at all.
Well, I was saying because you said earlier that right they should come out like they need to crank it up. It shouldn't be 7 years or this. They've always ever did.
I didn't say that. What I'm saying,
and I get it to a lot of people. To a lot of people, it seems like a long time before they release these games. Even for me, it seems like that because I want them to come a little bit more frequently. I know for a fact every generation we're going to get to Gran Turismo because that has been the history.
But I'm saying I'm not making that argument. So I understand what you're saying, but I don't know who you're talking. You're not talking to me with that argument because I never made that argument. My argument is if you're gonna take their biggest franchise, we're not talking about NAC here. We're not talking about a game that is subpar, and they want to. I can understand if they want to take NAC to a different direction because nobody buys the shit. I get that. Yeah. All right.
Now you're being disrespectful.
In fact, I'm gonna give you a real world scenario. Right. God of War went in a whole new direction because the franchise was done. Everybody was tired of God of War. They were tired of the old gameplay. Sony was not going to greenlight it. The franchise was dying. In fact, technically, it was dead after Ascension. It was not going to happen. It was not going to happen. It was fucking trash. Listen, hold on. Let me finish my point. So they had to revitalize the franchise, right, in the direction, okay? They had to revitalize this shit, right? So I get kind of doing the influence. But what I'm saying is this. You're talking about Sony's biggest franchise, Gran Turismo, right? Yeah. People that went there. I'm not saying don't do the esport crowd. I'm just saying whatever. If this is what you want to do, they, as part of the fan base that helped make the game serious, they have to be like, okay, this is what we got to do. We want to focus. We want to make a Gran Turismo that will support esport. We're going to have esport, whatever. But at the same time, let's release another Gran Turismo to ensure we have another successful classic game that's part of the staple franchise that made it the biggest ever, right? So and listen. It doesn't have to be at the same time. One could have released what you call first, and then 2-3 years later, a totally separate game, and then that's it. Just support those two games.
That's what this is doing. Exactly what you just said. Exactly what they're doing.
2020.
Puerto Rock. No, we're talking. Listen,
2020.
We just got to say right. When did Gran Turismo Sport just launched? What, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, it's not that.
Exactly, 2.5 years ago. They're launching supposedly now. According to Digital Polyphony now. At the ass end of this generation, is gonna come out like is supposedly November, right? No, I'm just let's
be honest. Let's be honest.
How they are already doing 2 games,
and you're just saying it's gonna release at the PS5 launch, so you know who's really this game is for. It's to lure the PS5 guys.
Just listen. Just like the previous games, right? Just like the previous game. Now, check this out, right? Exactly what you just said, right? You got to appease your mainline guy and your biggest franchise. The biggest franchise you said earlier sold 12 million copies for number 5. And that same franchise, that flagship franchise, sold 6 million copies for GT6. Yes. And you're acting, you don't see nothing wrong with that. You lost half your install base, and you think that they didn't need to reboot or make a change? They rebooted and made a change. Call it that, and let's move on. Call it that.
They launched the game when the PlayStation 4 is out. Like, it's already out. Like, people, it's like, it's not even the launch month of PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 is already knee deep. Hell, by that point, people were already talking that it's outselling the fuck out of Xbox One. Like, it was knee deep. That's all people were talking about.
For the Rock, that's that. Listen, if you're a Gran Turismo guy, right? You've seen stuff like this before. Like, their timing on when they release stuff
that doesn't
is not.
I already showed you.
It's not that particular. You showed me. You showed me the date.
That's not.
You showed me the date.
Right? If anything, Gran Turismo 6 should have never came out on PlayStation 3. It's pointless to release it. You're gonna release a game after the PlayStation 4 is out?
They've always released 2 games.
Hold up. Yes, but you're saying always. But notice. Always was within the generation. It wasn't after the next console came out.
All right, well, yeah, you can call it
like that. PlayStation, like Gran Turismo 4, like PlayStation 4, like on PlayStation. Look, on the PlayStation 2,
specifically for PS4, right? Specifically for PS4, when your install base is sitting at 90 million. So you're saying discard. You're the guy that says don't forget about your base. You're the guy that has been saying this whole podcast. Don't forget about your base. Don't forget about your base. You're telling them to forget about their whole base to target a handful of guys on a new generation.
That's what happens with every generation.
It always starts the generation off with Gran Turismo.
They didn't make Killzone Shadowfall for the PS3.
Exactly.
But this goes back to what you said earlier.
Yeah.
They're going to focus, right? They're going to focus on the larger install base. That was part of the PS3 era.
Like,
that's what
listen,
they did.
If they would have made GT6 for the PlayStation 4, that would be
it's a larger install base. It's for that generation. It's for that people. Remember, Porter Rock. Last generation lasted longer than any other generation.
Yeah, because last generation was trash
for that particular crowd, right? For that particular thing. So you can we gotta come on. You have to see my point. You have to see what.
Yeah, I am seeing your point. Your point is
take GT6.
I'll be honest. I am seeing your point. Your point is
for PS4 when you have 100 million motherfuckers over there that's been sitting waiting for that game. Like they can't do that.
They can't do what?
They can't release the game specifically for PS4 and forget about 100 million install base. At that time,
they did that with Killzone. They did that with Infamous.
Those were brand new games. This is your flagship race.
Guerrilla Killzone's a brand new game.
Killzone
came out on PlayStation 2.
Could Killzone Shadow? Could that run on PS3?
What?
Could Killzone Shadowfall run on PS3?
Because they made it for PlayStation 4.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm. Well, that's what I'm.
Made it for.
Well, that's what I'm.
They made GT6 for PS3.
But that's what I'm talking about.
We'll agree with that.
That's what I'm talking.
We'll agree with that.
That's nothing to agree. They did make it for PS3. What I'm saying is they should have never.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is I never said that they didn't make it for PS3. What I'm saying is,
what if
listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I said since the game is coming out that late to where PS4 is out on the street, then they should have just made it a PlayStation 4 project.
That would have been fucked up for
How?
all the people who were waiting.
How?
You just said you can't forget about your ways. You're telling me
the PlayStation.
You're the guy that's been saying this whole podcast.
The PlayStation 4
is more like a marathon.
The PlayStation 4 is already out, dog. Like
I agree.
people waiting. The PlayStation 4 is already. There you go. Let's move on, bro. In other words, we got.
Y'all want an infinite running
Listen,
circle.
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we gotta make sure Yoshida's able to buy his new Aston Martin. That's the point.
Facts.
That's it. As long as he can buy a new car, fuck everybody else. Yoshida, did you get your new 2 in 2020? Yes, I did. Good job. Master Shake, thank you for the super chat. He says, let me address the super chat. He says, if the single player is bigger and the multiplayer ends up being bigger, then are they really ripping you off if they ask for more money? Yup.
Nope. They need to ask
He said never give up, Kratos.
They charge these $99.99. And I hope they charge them for bullets so they can hide behind their cars, hide behind the grass. And stuff like that. Because
we got some multiplayer. Pay the bills,
no, it's funny. Everybody's talking about the multiplayer, but nobody's talking about the improvements to the single player. Y'all see how fucking crisp that shit looks? The new crafting mechanics, all that.
Oh yeah, I saw it. That's why I can give a rat's ass.
The game's gonna be amazing.
Let me say
the game's gonna be amazing.
Let me do the super chat. He says, Ravenflow, for Sony to listen, you need true influencers. People will be surprised how much influencers affect purchases today. Outside of that, it's the bottom line. I would say that. I would say YouTube, the big ones. You know, like the Lamar, all them motherfuckers. They definitely influence. Glorious War, P-Rock. I don't think you understand why GT is more popular than Forza. MS, it's the attention to detail in GT that makes more popular with racing fans. All I know is Forza Horizon 4 got 12 million people playing it. So I don't think you could sell this shit short. And I think that's the only exclusive that Microsoft has, or whatever you want to call it, that actually still in the top 20. That game still sells. That's the only one.
It's a lot of user engagements
MR says sports sold well because of VR and was bundled $1.99. Thank you for the super chat, brother. But I think all Gran Turismo sports at one point get bundled. So a lot of PlayStation first party games get bundled. Glorious War, thank you for the super chat. He says GT sports cars take longer to make and everything is internal made and not outsourced like Forza. Good point, but that's not relevant.
Yo, you see the quality. Nah, stop it, Porter. You see the quality difference between
all I see is some boring ass shit. Glorious War.
Shit.
Puerto Rock is the anti-car guy.
Some fucking boring ass shit. Some boring ass shit.
You see what people put
But I still fight the good fight for the little man. You understand what I'm saying? I will fight the fight. All right? Listen to the chat. You know, while J-Dub, because you know J-Dub's rich as a motherfucker. So they be got him Ferraris. He's in the same club that I'm not allowed in. You know, I walk by him, J-Dub be like, hey, waiter, can I get another bottle of wine? I'll look at him like, motherfucker. I'm like, are you going to tip? I'll get that. Does it come with a tip? I'll get you a bottle. You know what I'm saying? So J-Dub, like, he has Yoshida's phone number. You know what I'm saying? They go to the same, they go to, you know what I'm saying, to the fucking money. They go to Spain, Ibiza. They got all that shit. So he's in the club, all right? My man's the 1%. He's fake news. He owns Fox News, right? J-Dub got stocks in Fox News, right? So don't let it get twisted. All right, he fake news. The single player content GT Sport is completely different to the other GT, which is about car RPG single player.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
It says P-Rock. You can't compare.
The other ones they came out. All the other Gran Turismos they had an arcade and the simulation.
It says
it's basically two games.
My man Glorious Wars up in there. My man's the chat win of the day. Glorious Wars says P-Rock. You can't compare PS2 development to PS4. Actually, and Jay Barry, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Sony themselves says that they got development cycle down to as fast as PS2 thanks to their improved tool sets?
Shit.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Let me tell y'all something. When y'all see me break Xbox legs, it's because I got the knowledge. Don't test me, because I will turncoat. All right? Because like I said, motherfucking Cop Gamer took me out of a job. All right? So there's a lot of vacancies in Xbox Nation. There's a lot of vacancies.
So when you gonna let that
you give me 3 weeks, I'll be on RDX. All right, and I'll be on RDX in 3 weeks. Give me 3 weeks, and you see how fast I'll be on RDX.
Oh shit!
Right? Don't test me. All right, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Give me 3 weeks, I'll be on RDX killing it. They'll kick out Franz. They'll kick out Colt. They'll be like, man, fuck this. We got Porter Rock now. We don't need nobody else.
No, they'll kick out D-Batch.
They'll kick out D-Batch. I'll be like, yo, dealer. I'll be on your show repping Xbox to the fullest. I'll be like, I'll rep Xbox to the fullest under one condition. I'm the only minority on the show, so D-Batch gotta go. D-Batch gotta go. That motherfucker be blocked. You like, listen here, Porter Rock. I don't appreciate what you did. Okay. Right. Nah, shout out to D-Batch. Young boy Gibb, he says P-Rock, the PS3 was delayed. That's right, GT4 was out 2 years before the PS3 release, so that doesn't debunk J-Dub argument. I was talking about the PS2. So, I win again. Nah, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. Glorious War says GT is gas game now. Less sequels in the future. Oh shit.
Game as a service.
Oh shit. We like games as a service. We like that.
Game as a service.
Like that.
They're coming out with the mainline one.
This guy, man. J-Dub
is going to be 8K.
I'm just telling you what they said.
And the new one will support 8K.
My man says P-Rock can only break Xbox legs because they have chicken legs, but those chicken legs are in 4K. Ask Craig, right? Them chickens is native 4K. Shout out to Ravenswood.
Native 4K.
They're native 4K.
4K. Ori and the Blind Forest. Or Ori and the Will of
native 4K. All right, so let's talk about Big Cloud Gaming. Talk to us. He's here. Big Cloud's here.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the improvements of single player. Let's talk about something positive. You know.
I was saying the new crafting system's on fucking point. The new stealth, getting her around. I mean, she can fucking legit when she goes in tall grass, she crawls through it, which is crazy.
She can areas.
Does she got in the
There's a fucking jump button.
They improved the weapon sway too. Y'all remember how realistic the weapon sway was in the first?
Yes, finally has she has a jump button. So
she got a jump and a dodge button.
Yeah, jump and dodge button. But y'all remember the weapon swing?
Puddles.
There's a bunch of puddles in the game.
There's puddles.
Puddle. Remember Puddle Gate? It was jump button gate. Puddle Gate. Reflection.
Go
back to Puddle Gate. Now what's up?
And so far, Kofi. Kofi is not coming out to say it's been down.
Yo, that was the BGS.
Damn puddles.
Yeah.
There's a gameplay already out there. They showed the horse combat. Well, not combat, but she's on the horse and shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That scene looked beautiful though in the horse scene. They're going through the snow.
Beautiful.
I'm getting fucking Red Dead 2 vibes with the horse and
yeah, 100%. People's favorite game, guys, Red Dead Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
There's dogs that can, catch on to your scent.
Stealth.
Yeah.
There's dogs you can kill. Oh, y'all see them comments, motherfuckers saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna kill a single dog in this game. If I kill a dog, I'm just gonna reset my checkpoint." Like, what the fuck?
No, that's the first thing.
Weird motherfuckers.
You killed him on Call of Duty.
I think I missed some.
Remember you killed him on Call of Duty.
It's part of the experience. Come on.
Yeah. Well, you notice how it's the Sony games. These Xbox guys, they're soulies. They want the same game. So you kill
Xbox guy. I'm an Xbox guy.
within your months. So, but
you were talking about Sean.
I'm not more.
I already beat you to it. I already beat you to it when it came to turning cokes. Apparently I turned coke when I gave Gears 5 a good review.
Oh shit. Fuck it, we both been RDX.
Oh shit.
There you go, shit.
Gears 5 was a great game.
That game is trash. Game was crashing. The robot wouldn't do what it's supposed to do. Trash.
Gears 5 was a good game.
Oh, yo, somebody was damn sure on the fuck out of that part though.
I enjoyed it.
Where you gotta get the bomb out of the fucking mines and shit, and the fucking robot keeps going.
Spoiler alert.
Oh shit!
They had something called.
You see it. That shit was
What's the name of those things flying around? What did y'all call them? They looked like birds, except they weren't birds. They were just picking things apart. It wasn't the horde. It was the flock. They had the flock.
Sentinels, because they look like sentinels.
The krill or whatever it is.
Yeah. Trash. The game crashed. I heard somebody say the game crashed on them 20 times, but they were trying to give it a high score. Get the fuck out of here! How can something crashes 20 times get a good score?
I noticed that a lot too, Craig. Where a lot of these guys they put out these reviews and they list like 2 good things 40, and like 7 negatives. Like not out of 10. I'm like, what? It don't match up what you're saying.
They show Call of Duty all the time, don't they, Bar? They like, especially with Ghost. It doesn't do anything to change the series, but I think it does enough to warrant the purchase. Yeah, it gets an 8 out of 10. Get the fuck out of here.
Let's face it, guys. It's all about the reviewer, right? Whoever's reviewing how it feels to them. This is why, as gamers, as a community, we need to ask ourselves, right? We need to honestly ask ourselves, because we can't go with this, back and forth. Well, now reviews count, and then when it's a bad review, don't like it, don't count. Does it count or not?
The what review?
Well, it doesn't count.
Let me answer that question.
Gears
first, Carlos Crespin, thank you for the super chat. He says showing love for the dog shit show. Welcome back. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. So reviews is just, and this is one thing that's weird about the gaming community, because reviews is no different than reviews for any other industry. The same people that says Metacritic don't matter have Yelp on their phone. Like, that's the same system. Yeah. It's a review. It's just someone else's opinion of what they think about a product. What people have to understand about reviews, right? Meta technically is not a review site. It's just a culmination of other review sites averaged out. So technically, Metacritic is not a review site in of itself. It just takes other review sites and gives a general average. All right. But if you want to see the reviews, you have to go to those individual sites and you have to read the reviews for themselves. You have to read the words on what they're saying. All right. Now, the thing about a review, the key to a review is you have to find a reviewer with your personality, because all reviews are biased. There is no system where each reviewer has a checklist. This is how you review a game. You have to only look at it from this perspective. That's not how it works. Reviewers look at reviewers, but they put their personal taste. That's why, like the reviewer from US GamerNet, he thinks The Last of Us is fucking dog shit. That's his opinion on how he looks at Naughty Dog. And believe it or not, there are people who do not like Naughty Dog games. They think they're interactive movie. They don't have the gameplay. There is too much movie action and set pieces. So they agree with 100%. That dude. They agree with 100%. That reviewer, right? The key to reviewers, you have to find the personality that's similar to your personality. That way, when you look, when you look at a game that's $60, you read that particular reviewer who has similar taste than you, and he can help you inform if you like this game. For example, if J-Dub, let's say I'm a big racing game, just like J-Dub, right? And J-Dub's a reviewer. And me and him, we click on the same thing. And then I look at J-Dub's review for the next, Drive Club 2, right? And he's like, this game is dog shit. Then I'm going to be like, damn, me and J-Dub, we kind of have similar tastes. Then you know what? I'm not going to get this game because I know what he likes. We both click the same way. We have similar tastes. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what people have to understand. People going after the viewers that call games dog shit, that person truly believes the game is dog shit. He just doesn't have the view that you have. Look at another reviewer that likes the things that you like. Just like a restaurant. You go to Yelp and they say, damn, this restaurant's delicious, whatever. You're like, oh, fuck it, let me try it. You go to a restaurant, man, this food is dog shit. Well, guess what? You and that reviewer have different taste buds. He's not for you. And that's what people don't understand. That's all a review is. It's just a collection of different opinions based on what they think the game should be or isn't be, what they like, what they don't like. And that's what people got to accept. Now, when meta comes and you got a game that's 90 rated, all that's telling you is the majority of reviewers across the industry that has different tastes from different places around the world generally thinks this game is outstanding. While if you got another game that's rated 60, majority of the reviews generally think that this game is trash. That's all that is. But at the end of the day, if you still want to play a game, just play it. Just fucking play it. Like, you don't need permission.
Listen, I agree.
You don't need to permission.
I agree.
Like,
there's a bunch of games.
I like Days Gone over Red Dead Redemption 2. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is fucking dog shit. Mainly because the two things the Days Gone did better, controls, much better, and better fast travel, so I didn't have to drive around on a bike all fucking goddamn day. I could zoom in, go here, zoom there, go there. So the game pace was faster for me because I was zooming every other place. So it picked up. Red Dead, I didn't have that fucking option. Like, I literally had to ride a horse every fucking direction. It dragged like a motherfucker.
Fast travel wasn't that great either.
Did you like the first game?
Red Dead 2?
No,
from what I remember, I did like it. From what I remember. But I don't remember Red Dead, and I think maybe because the map was smaller, I don't remember it dragged that long. I remember going.
It really drags when you get to the epilogue, like when you get to the end after you beat the story. It really does drag up to that. Like, it's cool. It's fan service, right? I think we can all agree it's a nice fan service, but it's not really. It wasn't necessary. They didn't have to throw it in there at all.
You know, when you press the button and then the horse drove itself, you knew you were in trouble.
The cinematic.
Yeah, when they had a cinematic mode, that's when you know you're in trouble. When they say, "Oh, just do this," and the horse would just go on its own, I'm like, man, we're in trouble. Because I was using that shit. I was using that shit all the time, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. They like to go for style over substance with Red Dead too. Like, they like to play the music, let the shit do the cutscenes and all that shit. Transition.
Why do people let White Zaddy tell them what to go buy? Why don't they can't make up their minds on their own? They immediately run them back.
Here's the thing, all right. Just like any consumer product, you once you pay the money, it's too late. It's like Red Dead. I took Red Dead 2 at face value because it's a Rockstar game. They always make great games. I took it as value. I fucking, without looking at nothing, I said, boom, pre-ordered. I got the $80 edition. Done deal. That's it. My $80 is gone for a piece of shit. I can't take it back, right? So some people look at reviews, right? Because they don't want to spend the $80 and be like, fuck, I wasted $80 on this shit when I could have bought something else. So people look at reviews. Now it's even easier because now you got fucking Twitch. So you actually see the game now. So technically, in my opinion, you can actually, like, if I would have waited and I would have saw that game on Twitch, I would have not bought it. I would have been like, oh, hell no. Right? But I assume Rockstar can do no wrong, right? So
it's that honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
that honeymoon
but Rockstar,
it's kind of like Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's like it's a new game. You just buy into the hype because it's new. Some branch making new, and you think based off something new, you're hype. So
well, it's just like a Metal Gear Solid. The Metal Gear, like right now, you'll find out that it's so divided on what games were trash. But back then when they released, everybody thought they were the greatest game in the world. So hindsight is you're comparing a new game to a older game and an older generation. So something, what's good now versus back then you didn't know, and that's what was good. So
yeah.
So
I mean, I give Rockstar props though. You know, Red Dead 2, despite being a game that drags on, I mean, we gotta be real. It is one of the best.
It was amazing
achievements.
Like exactly. P-Rock didn't like that game, but I love Red Dead Redemption.
It's okay. I got to the ass end of it, and I just never.
Like Days Gone, it took about 10 hours before it actually kicked in.
That shit was too long.
Oh, bro, I had to play all the missions again to go for the fucking plot and finish it.
Yeah, but the problem with Red Dead is
the money and a plan.
The fast travel was one of the biggest problems with Red Dead 2. 100%.
The what?
Yeah, the fast traveling. It needed fast traveling in Red Dead 2.
But the reason you would need fast travel because you're tired of fucking the game and you want to hurry up and get somewhere. That's what fast travel.
I always say give you the option. I would say the shittiest gameplay mechanic that's filler is traveling from one point to another on a car, on a bike, or on a horse. It's not real gameplay. It's fucking filler trash. That's why you have fast travel, so you could just skip that filler trash. You understand what I'm saying? And you just bypass it. You understand what I'm saying?
You still get a cutscene regardless, though. That's the fucked up.
And it's just fucking ridiculous. You know, that's the same thing, you know? That's all it is. It's like you're driving from this point to this point for, you know, just to travel. And it's like, what the fuck? That's not fun gameplay. You understand what I'm saying? It's just not.
Yeah, the game was just
the only game I tolerated that shit was Mad Max, and that's only because wherever the fuck you drove, motherfuckers was trying to kill you. And if nobody was trying to kill you, you had this thunderstorm that's destroying everything. So every time you drove, something was happening. So I get that because you were literally So you literally lived in the world of Mad Max. So I didn't mind driving in Mad Max because you were getting fucked up anytime you left the base. As long as you drive,
the chase.
Oh my god, man, these motherfuckers don't let you live. Like, so I get that.
The game was okay, and I'm pretty sure it lost Game of the Year to God of War, which the last time I checked does not have multi.
Mad Max came out like 3 years ago, bro. Like, bro, listen, put down the moonshine. The moonshine.
Hey,
put down the cocaine.
Put down the cocaine. You were just talking about Red Dead. I don't know you said that.
You're talking about Mad Max.
Who cares about Mad Max?
You know, but I didn't like Red Dead at all. You know, and the controls, I just couldn't. And also the game was easy. It was fucking easy. Like, the only way I would fail a mission is if the non-playable characters would die. And they would die over the stupidest shit. Like, I'm going to go up in there and take everybody. I'm like, shit, sit your fucking ass down. Like, what the fuck is you doing there, Wild Bill Hickok?
Like Peter, exactly what you said. Look, that game got a 97.
Reputation system was ass in Red Dead 2 as well.
And you know Rockstar did this shit on purpose. Like that traveling shit, because you travel and then you have a stranger and they be like, would you mind taking me back to other town? I'm like, bitch, that's all the way back there. Get the fuck out of here.
You try to steal my horse.
I shot her in the head. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, here you go. Let me put you out of your misery. Pow.
And he fucking ran away, and I shot them off and get him off my horse. My reputation went down. Like, man, what the fuck?
I'm like, I'm not fucking taking you back to this town. Bang! Give me your money. Like, but anyway, continue with the Last of Us. I know we got off track. So listen, we all know The Last of Us is going to be the biggest game of 2020. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
One of the biggest.
No, it won't be. I think it's going to be Final Fantasy VII.
You think so?
I think it's going to be Final Fantasy VII.
Fact.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
You know, in a weird way, people are already paying $300 for this fucking Final Fantasy shit, and it's not even a complete game.
Yeah, Final Fantasy.
It's going to be Final Fantasy. I know Jay Barry. I know you big on. I know you saying Final Fantasy is the game of the year. Jay Bar here?
It's the game of the year.
It's my game of the year. Yeah, it's my game of the year.
So you to correct those guys.
Nah, it's correct. It ain't my game of the year.
It is a complete game. Correction. It is a complete game.
Ooh, shade.
Come on, JB.
That ain't complete, Bar. $300.
So they did. So you're telling me they didn't remove content from the game?
Well, they added content to the game, sir.
Oh, shit.
They made it.
Hey, J-Dub, you taking that? You gonna take that disrespect?
Man,
they made a 5 hour segment complete 60-hour plus segment. That's a complete game. I'm sorry for those people that think it's not.
JB, have you pre-ordered it?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you kidding?
J Bar got that. He got his damn shit.
The collectors is there.
You got your
the digital version. I got that as well.
You got your sword.
How much did you pay? Dollars.
What should I? What?
How much did he pay?
The collector's edition is $350. It's about $395.
Holy shit! That's a PlayStation 5.
I don't give a fuck. That's my Listen, that's my favorite game of all time, baby.
Shit.
Wait, Jay.
That's game of the year.
$300 doesn't include the other DLC that's not they haven't released yet, or they're not releasing yet.
There's no deal. It comes with everything.
I mean, like, let's go with every single installment.
That's the second part of the game.
Hey, you get everything.
That they want to give
you get the three pre-order summons.
Oh shit! Dog.
Come on,
you get pretty much.
Come on, JB. Not like this. Come on.
Let's come with every single.
And let me tell you, and yo, Cyberpunk's coming out next year. It has free single player DLC and multiplayer.
Hey, that's gonna.
Oh shit!
Hey, real talk. That's gonna be.
Damn, Naughty Dog's going down, dog. J-Dub, you're gonna take that disrespect. You're not gonna allow this
right now
on my podcast.
That's gonna be the year's biggest bomb.
What? Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk is gonna.
I agree. It's called Cyberpunk.
Trust me.
Oh shit!
A lot of y'all right now are doubtful that Last of Us 2 is going to win Game of the Year because you know that Final Fantasy 7 remake is right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Y'all, if y'all doubtful, put y'all money where your mouth is.
Look at these motherfuckers turning turncoat.
Sony has they have a tradition of having nothing
this is
but
for you. Ravenflow said, shout out to Ravenflow. He says, The Last of Us 2 will slap FF7 so hard Zach will resurrect. Oh shit! Everybody knows Zach is right.
Damn. Yo, that's funny. That's funny.
Oh shit! So what? Hey, yo, so Jada, talk about Cyberpunk. Why do you think it's gonna bomb?
Man, it's gonna, trust me.
Why?
I hope that the game do well, but something in my stomach that you know I have the eye of the tiger. Just like I predicted 3 years before God of War, I predicted it was going to win the game of the year, and I was right as usual.
Downgrade shit.
That is going to be the biggest flop of the biggest bust of the year because everyone's overhyping it. Everyone has all these expectations, and they're already walking back some of the stuff.
Like what?
And it's called Cyberpunk.
The whole third person stuff that they've been showing beforehand that will not be in the game. And just other stuff that is, I get it. Witcher 3 was the shit. But listen, before you try to compare them to the cream of the crop, such as the Naughty Dogs, the Guerrilla Games, and the Polyphony Digitals and stuff, you gotta have more than just one. Wait. You gotta have more than just one mega hit on your.
Okay, now I could maybe understand. Listen, I can understand Naughty Dog
on the PC.
I can understand Naughty Dog, but as much as I like Horizon Zero Dawn, Guerrilla is not on CD Projekt Red's level. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Gorilla's not there. Yeah. They're not there.
They're not there. I think they are. No, they are.
No, Gorilla is not.
Hey,
Gorilla ain't got no game.
Wait. I misspoke. I didn't mean Guerrilla Games. I meant, obviously God of War. That's what.
Yeah. Well, again, God of War, I can understand. You can't have no games on Cyberpunk.
Now we close the show. I'm done. Gorilla. See, I'm done.
It's full of shit.
Yeah, it
is. I'm done. Once Horizon Zero Dawn 2 come out, and it's going to smash records again, then we can put them in the upper echelon up there with the Naughty Dog. It takes more than one hit. You can't be a one hit.
I'm done.
You can't be a one hit.
I'm done. Who's the one? The Witcher franchise.
I think Cyberpunk is going to.
The Witcher franchise is a popular franchise. It's a quality franchise as a whole.
It's popular, but it only got its notoriety for Part 3. So that it is what it is.
What?
Yes, it only got its notoriety because of Part 3.
Well, number one, Part 3 was available on more platforms. Like The Witcher.
It doesn't matter. Listen, The Witcher, it doesn't matter. Listen, Metro, right? The Metro series has been strictly on the PC for most of its life, right? For most of its life, because it's a franchise. You got the No, I'll explain to you later. But just to make a long story short, so you have all of these games that were on the PC, and then it finally comes to the consoles, and then now people know what it's about. Now people know. Then they can go back and play the older games and read some of the books and stuff like that. But again, you have to have more than just that one good game that made you the. You're gonna have to follow that up.
But technically, Guerrilla, and don't get me wrong, I love Horizon Zero Dawn, right? It's a great game. It's a great start to a new IP. But none of Guerrilla's games is on the level of what they did.
Listen.
That's why I said Guerrilla. That's why I said Guerrilla. That's why I said Guerrilla. That's what I misspoke. Yeah. I didn't mean Guerrilla Games. I meant Sony Santa Monica. Okay, Santa Monica.
That's what I was meant to say.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Other than God of War, what does Santa Monica have that's super big?
Well, they followed up. You know, if you have a game, right, like Witcher 3.
Shit.
Listen, they had Witcher 1, Witcher 2. Nobody really knew about them outside the PC world. Then they came out with Witcher 3 on the consoles. Then now everybody know about it. Right? Now it's mainstream. Now everybody know about it. But then people try to say, "Oh, they're the best developer. They're up there with the best. They're the best." No, they're not. When they come out with Witcher 4, right, on the PS5 and stuff like that, and if it's another hit, then I will give them that.
But I would say this, like Santa Monica, God of War is a great franchise, right? But what really put Santa Monica on the map was this God of War. It dominated the game of the year. It sold 10 million for the first time, so it's double digit. This is the first time God of War normally only sells around 45 million.
It's about 4 to 5, 5 million.
It never dominated any game of the years in any year that it came out. Never, not one, right? Yeah. So this God of War puts Santa Monica on the map. 10 million plus sales, dominated 2018 Game of the Year awards. It just completely dominated. So wouldn't you say Santa Monica and CD Projekt Red kind of are the same?
No. Why not? And only because you've had God of Wars previously that got their prestige. Now, yeah, they didn't sell, Gran Turismo numbers. Obviously, think about it. Up to that point, Sony didn't really had a bunch of games that sold double digits. Again, we just had this discussion earlier. Gran Turismo was one of their only franchises that actually sold double digits. I agree. So it's not, that was a different time. This generation actually is unique. It was one of the only generations where you had Sony has 5 or 6 games that actually sold double digits. That's crazy. That was the first time ever.
But isn't The Witcher the same way? Isn't CD Projekt Red the same way? They started with a game, right? And eventually
isn't The Witcher 3? The Witcher 3 counts.
What I'm saying is they started out because the other 2 games are still good, but as they kept developing more and more,
listen, the other 2 games
they got better.
The 2 games fucking 200,000, 300,000 copies. It was on the PC let's stop it. We can all be honest. Nobody knew who CD Projekt Red was prior to The Witcher 3 outside of the PC community. And now those are just the facts.
No, because The Witcher 2 was on Xbox 360, and Xbox 360 was a popular console.
Did you play Witcher 2?
Actually, yeah.
You did? Did anybody else on this panel play Witcher 2? Were you excited and anticipating Witcher 3 before it dropped? Because most people did not know what the game was until it got its notoriety. Let me see. Hold on. So what I'm just saying is, if they come out with Witcher 4 and it's a great game and they followed it up or whatever their next game is, which is Cyberpunk, if it comes out and it's smash, bam, it's up there. It's up there with Naughty Dog. It's up there with Rockstar. It's up there. It takes more than one game. You have to follow it up, even if it's a sequel.
I agree.
You have to follow it up.
If comparing them to Naughty Dog to Rockstar, that I agree. But when y'all brought up Santa Monica and Guerrilla.
No, take Guerrilla out of the equation. Now, I told
and again, Santa Monica. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You say
Guerrilla is not
okay. Cool. So we'll scratch out Guerrilla. But now Santa Monica, they don't have another powerful franchise like God of War. God of War is the only thing really.
But they have been consistent with God of War and what they have for the generations at that time.
Really? Have they been consistent?
Yes.
Because God of War, the new God of War PS4 is the only one that sold double digit and dominated Game of the Years. The other ones didn't. They were great games. They were great games. We
just talked about that though. Name some games from last generation that sold double digits that was an exclusive.
Double digits.
Besides, you know, I mean, I don't even think did Uncharted 2 and 3 sell double digits.
No,
I thought they were like
Halo.
6, maybe 5, 6, 7 million. It was last generation. It was rare. That's why when you told me Gran Turismo 5 sold 12, I was shocked because from when I last read,
let's look
it
at
was
this.
like
Look at this one.
9.
So Uncharted. Let's take Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 dominated its Game of the Years.
Okay.
God of War 3 didn't.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? All right, and here's the thing. Here's the reason why I put Naughty Dog.
So
this is why I put this is why I put Naughty.
Is the requirement Game of the Year? I want to know that.
There could be a lot of requirements. I mean, Witcher had great Metacritics. I mean, Witcher 3 technically has the most Game of the Year awards, period. Here's the thing. The reason why I say Santa Monica, because let me put it to Naughty Dog. With Naughty Dog, right? You can name 4 major franchises that sold.
Yeah.
Number 1, Crash Bandicoot. Huge seller, right? Number 2, Jak and Daxter.
Uncharted.
Huge seller. Number 3, Uncharted. And then number 4, The Last of Us. So I get them, because that motherfucker seems like they make a new IP. It's huge.
I was just giving it the benefit of the doubt. You got to have at least 2 games, even if it's a sequel. Like 2, you got to have 2.
All right, well, let me ask you this:
you're going to be a one-hit wonder. That's what I'm saying.
And here's another thing: CDR, they're tackling a new IP. Santa Monica is not creating a new IP. The next game is
while you're on that notion, what do you think about what y'all think Ghost of Tsushima is going to do? Because that's new.
Don't know, man. I really don't know. All I know is Yoshida said that it was the most eye-pleasing game graphically that he's ever seen.
Ghost is going to do good.
So it's getting a lot.
I don't know. Listen, it just may end up being a niche title. I don't know. It may end up being kind of like
or that might,
it may.
Let me do some more super chat. He says, "Glorious War, Cyberpunk gameplay will be mad. Story will be good." We'll see about that. Thank you for the super chat, and then the Ravenflow.
Cyberpunk is third place 2020. That's all.
That's what he says.
At least we got Crackdown 3. Let's go.
Ravenflow. He says, "I'm calling Voodoo Vince 2 for a Stealth 2020 with original assets." Oh shit, these are wilding. Glorious War, Santa Monica has more 90 rated games than CDPR. Yeah, CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red.
Because Projekt Red only has the Witcher franchise.
Only Santa Monica, they also help with a lot of smaller games. So you guys gotta,
they got multiple.
A lot of studios.
But let's be honest. The Witcher 3 is a benchmark in RPG game.
It was until Horizon Zero Dawn.
No,
I'll give it to Zelda. And Final Fantasy.
Shut the fuck up, Jay. Come on.
This motherfucker said to Horizon Zero Dawn. So Horizon Zero Dawn is a good game. It's a really good game. But I would not put Horizon. I would not, and it's a new RPG. But I would not put Horizon Zero Dawn as one of the top RPGs. I wouldn't.
It's up there.
Horizon.
You know what? Let's do the sequel.
It's a great start for a new IP. It's a great world, great graphics, great gameplay. But I wouldn't do it. I would never try to put Horizon Zero Dawn among the top RPGs, right, of this gen. I would never do that. But if you try to do it, you're going to see a lot of faults in Horizon Zero Dawn if you try to do it. Like, number 1, the crafting, the weapon system is very basic. It's a very easy system.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So if you try to do that, you're going to expose a lot of the faults. But I don't think it's fault because it's a new IP. And I don't think Guerrilla ever said that they're trying to make the best RP of the generation. They never made those claims. But if you try, and it's their first project, and it's RPG.
It just so happens to have RPG elements.
So if you try to put it next to it, it's going to be a bad argument.
Listen, nothing's worse. Nothing's worse than releasing a game that you don't know how to define it. If it's a game that's stuck. You want to call it an RPG, but it's really an action game, and half the people call it action game, and it's an RPG. You're gonna kind of lose both of the base. You have to define that game, and I will put that next to RPG. It's an action game with RPG elements.
I think it's an action RPG. You understand what I'm saying? More
because of the
design of the game.
Exactly.
The thing is, a lot of people.
It's an easier game.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget what an RPG is. An RPG is a role playing game. You design how your character build is. Horizon has those elements.
Yeah.
So Horizon is an RPG, but it's not like a full fledged hardcore RPG.
And they could go deeper because remember this is their first project, so they could like go deeper into making it more whatever So I said it's a great first attempt. They did a phenomenal job. I think they introduced this new franchise better than Killzone. Like Killzone was shit.
100%. Like it was a good game.
Yeah, like I said, this is a better game than Witcher.
I think y'all just hate Killzone, man. Y'all just hate Killzone. Killzone's a great game.
Killzone crazy.
Trash. Killzone 2 I loved.
Wait, Jay, you're not even playing it.
Killzone 2 I loved.
Killzone, I played Killzone. I don't play it now currently.
Killzone 2 was the shit.
You're playing now.
Until they started doing the Call of Duty route. And then I'm like, with Killzone 3?
Hey, Puerto Rock.
I love Killzone.
For PS5, what if they do a remake of Killzone 2? Like a remaster, not a remaster, but a remaster /
a full reboot.
Like people
remake.
I'd rather have them do a new IP, man. If they're gonna do a shooter, I'd rather have them do a new IP or reboot the franchise from scratch. And then they're probably gonna take away multiplayer anyway and sell it separately. So it is what it is.
Yes, right.
El Matador, $2 super chat. He says Sucker Punch over CD Projekt Red, Ghost of Chinos.
All day.
Oh shit.
All day. I mean, again, it's nothing wrong with CD Projekt Red. Those books, the Witcher books, are much better than those games. But at the end of the
game of the generation. Everybody calls Witcher 3 game of the generation.
Well, they're moist.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, as it stands right now, Witcher 3 is the most Game of the Year awarded game of all time.
I need to see those receipts.
I'm just saying,
Professor.
I could show you. I got Game of the Year box.
No, that's true.
It won the most Game of the Year out of any game. It holds the record now. The previous record. The previous no, hell no. No. God of War, I think God of War has more Game of the Year awards than Zelda. Like, you know what I'm saying? The previous.
That's asinine. That's asinine.
He's like, listen, y'all Sony peasants. Nah.
You're not loud enough. You gotta go loud.
Puerto Rock, hey, Puerto Rock, brother, we need you back, bro. We need you on
that shit's
MVP
like at 1:30 in the morning, man.
That shit, I don't know. It's not 3-4.
Just one day.
Shane knows. Shane knows what I'm talking about. That shit be killing us in Europe. Fuck that. And I gotta wake up at 5:30? Hell no. You think I'm gonna stay up late to hear Baron's loud ass voice?
Hey, we're gonna have to do a special version that's earlier for you.
I can't do it. I'm like, hell nah. You know what I'm saying? It's asinine. You know what I'm saying? Did I read it? Yeah. Also, okay. Ravenflow. He says Horizon is an RPG. It's like Zelda. You know what? I don't know. You know what? That could be.
It's better than Zelda.
We're gonna nip that in the bud. That's not even completely true.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay Barry. Let him know.
Zelda, you can't but customize your character. You know what I mean? You just get products upon products. That's not even
boom.
And Zelda keeps running away from Link because Link sex is bad.
Yeah, Link.
Oh shit!
Like a Zelda game doesn't have character customization where you are building up stats towards something. You know what I mean? Like proper defense. You know, you're getting items that will probably, assess certain things, but it's not like an RPG. It's more of an action game. Horizon Zero Dawn, you actually do that stuff.
Zelda's always been an action adventure
towards your actual character.
There's always been an action adventure game. Zelda.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. Oh shit.
Shit. What's up now?
Hey, yo, so Shan, so you ain't playing Gears no more, right? Because it sucks.
I'm not.
Hey, they told it. I heard you deinstall the game because you got sick of the shit. Is that true?
Oh shit!
Is that true, Shane?
Oh shit! No. Who said that?
I heard
his game.
I heard you refunded your $1. Is that true? We need some truth here. Listen.
Yo, what's your multiplayer rank?
Shane, this is your safe space. You can tell the truth about Xbox. No one is gonna No one's gonna kick you out here. We're all PlayStation dudes.
Oh, shit.
We promise to keep it a secret. No one's gonna badger you. Tell us the truth, man. You know Xbox One sucks ass, right? You know that, right? Come on, you can tell the truth here.
It's not been the best generation. Let's be honest, Peter. Let's be honest. It hasn't been the best generation, but Peter, like I said to you before,
Tell him about that snake in the bush.
I'm not saying it's not the best.
I had 18 months of gold for $1. I turned that to 3 years of free games. You can't beat that for the gamers. Just for the gamers.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Motherfuckers gonna play games. Yo, I feel sorry if they put like Devil May Cry, Metro Exodus. These motherfuckers are playing for $1. I'm like, oh shit. I swear to God, if Sony does this, I'm gonna finesse the fuck out of that system. Oh, I hope they do.
Like Peter,
I hope they do it.
Like Peter, you did. Yeah, Peter, you did the $2 deal.
Yeah.
You played Gears and Blair Witch.
Yeah. And then I tried to play Crackdown. I'm like, man, this game sucks. Yo, I was like, that shit is terrible. Oh my god, that game is so fucking. Yo, I was like, oh my god. I'm like, yo, this game is bad.
J-Dubs for like 3-4 hours. J-Dubs completed that.
Yo,
game.
you have to pay me to play that game. Like, yo, this shit is bad. Bro. I'm like, yo, these dudes are bugging.
Yo, who was damage control in the multiplayer, the auto aim? Was it Kiss Move?
Like in terms of what?
Like the multiplayer, like the auto aim, the lock on aim.
Yo, when I saw that
no Kiss Move,
lock on
when he played the multiplayer, I saw his stream. He was trying to destroy a building and he couldn't. You saw his face his face was like, yo, because he was trying to prove destruction physics, right? He picked the wrong part of the game.
He was like, oh wow.
Oh my god, yo.
He said, oh wow.
Looks amazing.
I can't.
Piece of the fucking
he
building
spent
came
like
off.
10 minutes. He's shooting rockets, yo, and that shit wouldn't blow up. And he's looking at it like, what the fuck, yo? Kids Move's the GOAT when it comes to this.
Oh, that game is the biggest scam.
That's crazy.
Shout out to my man.
It's one of the biggest.
Shout out to my man,
ones,
Doc Cupcake. When he did that, give me the boom. Oh my god! Like, yo, everybody's like, yo, this guy's fabricating it. He's like, look at the booms, give it the booms everywhere. I'm like, yo, this dude.
More booms.
Man, shout out,
Boomtastic.
Yo, shout out to man. He was a Navy corpsman that deployed, man. Shout out to my man, Doc Cupcake. Yo, that shit is funny. Yo, but good kids movies. Yo, he's doing the new Bloodborne challenge. The old Hunter.
Shit.
Yo,
the old Hunter's DLC harder
I'm
than.
telling you, Kiss Move when he plays these games is the most entertaining shit you will ever see, bro.
Wait, he's going back to Bloodborne? Yes.
No, so he's gonna play the old Hunters.
And he going to the old Hunters.
Which is harder than the original. Oh my god.
Well, it ain't that hard. It ain't that hard. They kind of break the
This is for Kiss Move. This is for Kiss Move. Yo, when he plays Sekiro, he says these developers know that I'm black. Yo, I died.
No, what had me crying is when he got thrown by the ogre and they threw him off the map. And this motherfucker broke his controller. I was done. I was done.
Elite controller.
This motherfucker started crying and broke the controller. Like, come on, bro, stop.
Yo, Kiss Move's the GOAT when he comes to streaming these hard ass games. He's like, these motherfuckers know I'm black. Yo, I'm dying.
The Orphan of Kos is gonna definitely mess him up. Kos is gonna mess him up. I think he's gonna quit at Kos.
I'm telling you, Kiss Move playing these games.
Did he finish Sekiro?
What?
Did he finish Sekiro?
Not within the time. Not within. He finished the
But
game. He ended up beating it, but not within the
screen.
time limit. That's a hard challenge for him, man. That was like, man, when they said 40 hours, I'm like, this ain't happening. I'm like,
Yeah, they ain't lying 40
now on
hours.
the first playthrough. Oh shit.
That's fucking You can't even be Bloodborne your first 40 hours.
I try to get it. I try to get him to 60, man. I was like, yo, y'all need to up that to 60 for Kids Move, man.
That's what's really pushing it. Souls games are real slow paced.
I mean, we're watching it to see him.
Really
we're watching him to see him get frustrated anyway. Like that's really what we want to see. Yo.
Yeah.
But still, though, like word of advice, that's a Souls game. Souls games are always all about filler and keeping it slow. Keeping you locked to the game. Reading.
So let me ask you this.
Oh, and I forgot. Japan Studios got an event too, Porter. So y'all think Bloodborne 2 might be announced?
Oh, when is the
Japan
event?
Studios is doing an event. It's going to be on November. I think. Yeah, so it's November.
Oh man, that would be
maybe at the Game Awards.
Like they just announce, like they do something stealth announcement.
That would be crazy if they could announce Bloodborne 2. That would be huge. You know what's funny? Y'all seen the list of the top 10 from MPD, right? So Matt Piscatella, he released the top 10 games, specifically exclusives for each platform, right? And I'm gonna pull it up right now because I took a screenshot.
Oh shit! Oh shit, Peter!
Yeah, Shane knows what's coming. You're about to get fucked up. All right. You're about to
fucked up last week.
I'll fuck you up right here when we show the Xbox. But hold on.
Come on, P-Rock. You're my Europe brother now. Come on, P-Rock.
But for the PlayStation, right? So the top 10 exclusives, according to MPD in America, coming in at number 1 is Marvel Spider-Man, which is fucking amazing. That game, that game was like fucking only like 9 months old, and it surpassed like holy shit, right? Number 2, God of War, 2018.
No multiplayer.
Number 3, Horizon Zero Dawn.
No multiplayer.
All right, hold on. Number 4, Uncharted 4. Oh, we want to be quiet now, right? We ain't got shit to say.
You cut out.
All right. Number 5, Bloodborne.
Oh, shit.
Huh?
No
multiplayer.
I don't know. I never played it. It does have multiplayer. I tried to play it one time.
Now this is surprising. All right. Number 6, Days Gone.
No multiplayer.
Let's get it.
Number 7.
All right. So out of the first 6, 4 don't have multiplayer, right?
So, no, the first 6, no. Uncharted and Bloodborne have multiplayer.
Yeah, 4 out of the 6 don't have multiplayer. Did you read some?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understood.
Okay. Number 6, Days Gone, which is impressive. Number 7, Infamous Second Son.
No multiplayer.
Okay. And then number 8, MLB The Show 17.
Has multiplayer.
Number 9, MLB The Show 19.
Multiplayer.
And number 10, MLB The Show 18.
There you go.
Shit.
So when you
5.
So 5 is split. Technically, 5 games are single player, 5 games are multiplayer in the top 10.
Yeah, 50-50.
Again, 5 of them are single player games with a multiplayer element. But those top 3 is what's honestly, if you're marketing and I give you the top 3, your top 3 do not have multiplayer. So Naughty Dog doing what they did, doing what they just did makes sense when you're looking at their top studio. Even if you want to say Insomniac, I'm going to asterisk next to it, honestly, because Insomniac was not their first party studio when they made Spider-Man. So if you want to put an asterisk next to them, that's fine. So your 2 top studios and the one-to-one game.
We're gonna say this again because we're going around to go. Craig, we're not saying every game needs multiplayer. Nobody's saying that. I didn't say that.
Oh yeah,
nobody's saying that. What the issue is when a developer takes content away from the gamer. So technically, that could apply to anything. Like let's say if they make the next Killzone multiplayer only, because they want to focus on the looter shooter. Whatchamacallit, they want to focus on the looter shooter, fucking, Anthem Destiny crowd. And they thinking, you know what? And technically they got the developers of Rainbow Six Siege, right? Which is a big so what if they want to be like, you know what? We're going to make an online only Killzone, looter shooter, whatever, because we think that's going to make the game bigger than what it is, right? Is that right to take away from the crowd that also supported the single player side of Killzone? I'm asking the question now. So let's say if they did that, would that be a good decision?
The people who play multiplayer need to go to a room and be locked away with one chicken wing.
Okay, no. So let me bring up that dilemma. Let's say if Sony makes a decision to make Killzone online multiplayer to capitalize on the most successful multiplayers that are out there, which are technically only online. And they say, hey, we're not doing single player. It's multiplayer only. We want to focus on the multiplayer because that's what this is about. Is that a good decision? Would that be a good decision? I'm just asking.
Free to play. Is it free to play?
You have to buy. You have to buy. Just like Anthem.
Well, if you want to play multiplayer online and put on a headset and go pew pew pew.
I'm not asking what you want. I'm just saying, is that a good decision? Would you agree with Sony's decision to scrap single player from Killzone?
If they have data that shows that people are going to go buy it, then they should.
So you're cool with that decision?
It doesn't. If they have the data that shows it's going to.
Are you cool with the decision, though? I'm asking, are you cool, Craig? Craig Harris. I'm not talking about what they have. I'm talking about your opinion.
It's just like people were complaining 2 weeks ago. You had people complaining about the whole Spider-Man thing and how Sony screwed everything up, blah, blah, blah. Where are they now?
So I'm asking you. Okay, cool.
Okay, everybody specifically said you moist Simpson to shut up and just simply negotiate.
So you're cool with that decision. That's what I'm asking.
Peter, let me ask you.
Hold on. Craig, are you cool? Are you like for you, you'd be like, no big deal, whatever.
Yeah, it's no big deal to me.
Okay, cool.
Because if I want it as a
J-Dub, are you cool with that decision?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be on a single player. If they decided not to do a single player and do a multiplayer, that'd just be a game.
Did you like Killzone? Did you like the game, the story?
I care for Killzone. I did. I like it. It wasn't bad.
I want to say Barry. Jay Barry.
I played it. It's okay.
Jay Barry, are you cool with that decision?
Hell to the no. Listen, I enjoy Killzone single player.
But Portalock is saying that Portalock is saying that the multiplayer would be separate. There would still be a single player.
No, I said Sony. No, I say Sony said no. Fuck single player.
Oh, okay. Always, well, then, all right. Well, then, so you would be mad if there's no single. Okay.
I said always. Well, I'm asking you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fuck. They say fuck single player is always online. No, I understand that. Yeah. Big budget, always online, multiplayer. Jay Barry's
like Call of Duty was.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty.
I mean, I play Killzone online, but I like the single player as well. So I'll be mad at. Of course, I'll be mad.
You want both? Yeah.
COD, that's a different thing. COD, I don't really care about the single player. You know what I mean? Like, I just go multiplayer. Killzone, I actually care about the single player, so I'm like, all right,
I couldn't even finish Shadowfall. I couldn't finish it. I had to stop playing it. I'm like, fuck this game.
Actually, Shadowfall to me personally got the second best story.
Oh my god. It felt like I was slicing my own wrist. I'm like, when I was playing that game, I'm like, man, this is must. I'm like,
Shadowfall again.
I'm playing this game. I'm thinking this. This is how must committing suicide feels like right now. This is the closest. This is the closest you will ever get to committing suicide without actually doing it. Like, if you guys want to know how it feels to commit suicide, play Killzone Shadowfall single player. That's probably the closest you're ever gonna get to killing.
You gotta play Shadowfall. You gotta play Shadowfall again because that story is really strong.
I'm not. If I would divorce my wife if she brings that game in the house. My wife is the love of my life, but if she walks through that door, I'd be like, hey babe, look what I found. I'd be like, we're through. Like, you're gonna come and disrespect me like that?
The reason why Shadowfall,
I'll be like, girl, you have my last name, and you're gonna disrespect my name with this shit.
The reason why Shadowfall is the story is so good.
It's not good. They're lying. Jay Barry's lying, dog. He's lying. It's not
good. Yo, one thing I'll tell you, when it comes to gaming, I don't lie about gaming.
I will tell you this, my man all day, right? This was a while ago, right? So I'm on Party Tower all day. All day sees Killzone on sale for $5 on PSN. He's like, yo, Portalock, this shit's on sale for $5. I'm like, yo, all day, this is what I want you to do. You're gonna take that $5, right? And he's like, yeah. You're gonna get in your car. You're gonna drive to McDonald's. You're gonna order number 1. You're gonna come home, eat it. And that's better than buying Killzone for $5. He's like, shut the fuck up, right? Yo, he bought Killzone, right? 2 days later, he texts me, yo, I should have bought the McDonald's. I was like, I told you. He texts me like, I should have just bought McDonald's.
Yo, oh my god! To be honest with you, I find it very hard. Story if you like the prior games because it's like continuing the Hellgas side of things.
I only liked really Killzone 2, right? Killzone 2 was a decent story. I like the multiplayer because it was different from everybody else. When people complain, and you know probably what I'm talking about, how it's heavy and like the guys don't move fast, right? And like you can't like instantly kill somebody in one shot. Like it forced people to stick together and fight as a team because it was slow. people didn't die with a pistol with one shot to the head. Like it was like war. Like people had to like focus and fight. And I'm thinking, and people complained about that because you know the hot shit during that time was Call of Duty. Everybody running around, 100 kills in 10 seconds. Everybody wanted that shit. So then people who are playing Killzone, they're like, oh, this game fucking sucks. It's clunky, it's heavy, and all this shit. And I'm thinking, then go play Call of Duty then. Like, leave this game alone because it's different. Well, Guerrilla listened, and they made Killzone 3. And I'm like, this is a generic Call of Duty, so I'm going to play Call of Duty then. Like, why would I play you if you're just trying to mimic someone who's the originator? Like, it doesn't make sense. Killzone 2 was a unique game in its feel, in its fighting. You know, everything was unique. I love the fact that you stood on the map and you instantly went to another mode. I was like, yo, this shit is dope. Granted, it's not the 10.
Yeah, I like the changes that I like what Killzone, what they did is that they changed it to Call of Duty button mapping because aiming with R3 was kind of tedious at times. So once they changed that, like it was Call of Duty buttons, I was like,
yeah. And also but they also changed the speed and all that. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers. Like for
then they did the Uncharted 3 though, the multiplayer. Then they kind of make it Call of Duty-ish. You had to click L3 to run and shit.
Uncharted 3 multiplayer was rough, man.
I remember that shit. Like they really like remapped it.
Yeah.
Yo, Peter, pay the bills.
I remember like they had to click L3 to fucking run hard, and then you had everything else was kind of like the same, but they were trying to go with the more action.
Uncharted 3 multiplayer was rough. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because you know why? So let me start this Ravenflow. Killzone Shadowfall storyline is as strong as toilet paper. That's just as strong as wet noodles. Yo, shout out to Ravenflow.
It's like if I was to give a brief synopsis of Killzone Shadowfall story, a lot of y'all gonna be like, oh, that happened in the story. Cause I know a lot of people that says it mostly didn't play it to complete. Because that story to me was like, yo, this shit's crazy.
Are you sure it was in there, or were you just ecstatic from the graphics? Everybody was hyped for the graphics.
I'm gonna give y'all a visual depiction of Killzone Shadowfall.
Right, nah. Wait, listen, I'm not like what some of these games. Yo, when I tell you about a game story, that's why I play games for the story. I can break down that whole story for you and let you know how much I liked it. Killzone graphics was great.
People could break down the story of Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3. Does not make it good.
I mean, it does not make it good. But I'm saying a lot of people that saying that it's not good didn't complete the game.
I couldn't because it sucks. Like, listen. I have a high tolerance of bad games. Like I said, I beat RDR 2. But there's certain games I just couldn't do it. Killzone Shadowfall was one of them. I'm like, I can't do this no more. Like, literally, it was like choking myself playing that game. Like, I'm literally choking. I'm like, I can't take this game. Like, Jesus Christ, this game sucks. I'm like, delete. Like, I have more fun deleting.
Let's get gaming talk. Like, what in the story that you didn't like that made it suck?
I was saying, this is like 2015, because this is one of the first games I played, right? So number one, when I remember, it totally took out the war concept. Like, you're more secret spy fucking guy with a stupid flying robot on your side, sneaking in missions and shit like that, right? Then they made the fucking game like look all shiny and bright when Killzone was more dirty and gritty and stuff like that, right? And I only got halfway to the fucking game. I just couldn't take the fucking game no more. Like, I couldn't get into it. I didn't like the story. The fucking game was all shiny. It was like a clash between Mirror's Edge and shit like that. Like, I couldn't do it. And I'm like, I just can't take it. Like, Helghast is now on the same planet, right? Because they felt sorry. Because they felt sorry, but Helghast is like running shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this
is what it was like with Shadowfall.
I can't do it.
All right, so 3, you invaded Helgen, right? And you destroyed the whole planet. But there's people that, that survived that, were innocent people, or you thought they were innocent. You brought them to your planet. So now the Helgens is on, like, I forgot the name of the planet that we're from, actually. But
Vector, I think. Oh, no, that was Helgen's planet.
Vector, Vector. So now the Helgens, that survived, they were secretly plotting because you put them in like this separation, like pretty much like camps and all that stuff to take over Vector, like how you got, how we took over Helgen and all that stuff. So that's why you got into the whole infiltrate the campsites because you wanted to figure out what they're planning because you got word that they're planning something. There's going to be a coup trying to take over the planet. That's why in the beginning,
you don't need no fucking
when you're chilling,
spy. You come in and be like, bitch, you on our planet. What is you doing? That's all you gotta do.
I tell you that joint is ill though, man.
You
because
you
look,
run
they
through
came
that
over.
shit, you be like, listen, you on our planet. What bullshit you doing?
What made Shadowfall good is the game that you love. They kind of reinterpreted that where Helgen is taking over the planet again. For really, really good. That's why I say it's very hard for me to
listen
2 or 3 or whatever.
That game made me throw up on myself. It was bad. Notice I read the top 10. You ain't see kills on that motherfucker. There's a lot of baseball. All right, there's a lot of baseball in that motherfucker. But anyway, so that's PlayStation's top 10, right? Here's Xbox. Now this is a fucking joke.
Well, look what Nintendo
drop the Kid Smooth song.
I'm Halo, Gears, and Forza. Yo,
talk about Nintendo versus Peter.
All right, my man Shane be like, please don't do this. So number 1, Halo 5 Guardians. Obviously, that makes sense. Halo, number 2, Halo the Master Chief Collection. Okay. Number 3, Forza Horizon 3. Number 4, Gears of War 4. Number 5, Forza Horizon 4. Number 6, Forza Motorsport 5. Like, god damn, bro. Number 7, Sea of Thieves, which is shocking.
That's a fake list.
Number 8, Forza Motorsport 6. Number 9, Forza Motorsport 7.
See?
And number 10, State of the Gate 2.
The whole generation.
Fourth generation of best racing game ever. Best racing game ever. Come on. GT couldn't do that shit.
Here's my thing, right? If you look at the PlayStation one, right? You have, and this is impressive. You have Bloodborne and Infamous, right? So Jay Barry was like early in the gen, so he's fighting the fight. He's trying to tell everybody Bloodborne's the shit, Infamous the shit, and nobody was listening to him, right? He's telling people that PlayStation gamers are buying PlayStation because Bloodborne's a big title, Infamous is a big title, and Xbox are saying hell no, Rise, Sunset Overdrive, Titanfall, right? Yep. But now that we have the numbers,
Halo Gears and Forza.
Rise is not on the list. Sunset Overdrive is not on the list. But Bloodborne's on the list. Infamous is on the list. So that gets to show you who truly.
I'm shocked Infamous even made the fucking list, to be honest with you. I thought that game was like a long.
When Infamous came out, that junk was selling like hotcakes. Remember, it was like 2-point-something million in like a.
Yeah, but I thought it was already passed by like everything else that came out. I didn't think it would be on the list, to be honest with you.
That shit is crazy.
That's crazy.
The DLC. They had a Ruby DLC.
Max not on the list.
Yeah, it had technically that was staying alone though, right? That was
surprising. What surprises that Titanfall 1 is not on the list? I thought that game was
Titanfall. So I'm gonna say this. So I'm gonna say this. Because Matt said Titanfall 1's not on the list because it's on PC. It's not an exclusive, and it's on PC outside of the Microsoft.
Okay.
Thing. So like you get on Steam. So so games you get on Steam don't count. And shit like that.
Rise ain't exclusive.
That was a good game, though. Wow. That was a good game.
What about the other games? What games? They really only have
Halo. I don't remember a game that had like they different titles.
Like literally, Xbox is Halo, Gears, and Forza. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. But I remember the marketing that went into Titanfall 1. You remember how big they treated that shit?
Titanfall 1.
I'm gonna say this. The reason why Titanfall 2 also Titanfall 2 failed on a lot of, even though it's a great game, the single player, holy shit, it's a great single player.
That was a great
especially the portion with the time travel where you go back and forth. You know what I'm talking about? For those of you that play the game, there's a part where you can instantly go back and forth in time. So like you're fighting guys and then you fly to the future, right? You run to another part of the room and then you go back in time and now you're behind them and you're killing them. I'm thinking, that segment alone could be an individual game. If somebody took that segment concept and made a game based on that shit would be bananas, right? But anyway.
They did. It was called Quantum Break. And
Quantum Break didn't go back and forth in time.
did not buy the game. The problem is the community didn't buy the game.
I think they did. Towards like the end, I think they did the time stuff.
I'll tell you, but Titanfall, that shit was hot. But anyway, Titanfall also got sandwiched between Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Gears. I don't know why EA would do that. I don't know why EA would release Titanfall when they were also releasing Battlefield 1, which was already getting hype, right? Call of Duty came out that same month. And then Gears, for the Xbox community that originally had the game, they were going to buy Gears over Titanfall, especially since they got pissed because of Blue Disc. That pissed them off. So they, so that,
and again, this shows you how moist.
So that killed it, right? PlayStation community, even though I think it sold best, they didn't really buy it a lot. It didn't get a lot of sales from PlayStation, right? But I think this is the reason why. So I remember on a podcast a long time ago with Titanfall. This was like when Titanfall was maybe a couple of months old. I was on a podcast with Zaire, Dealer, Reaper, and maybe somebody else, right? And of course, I'm talking shit to Dealer, you know, so we talking shit back and forth, right? And you know, it's the whole why we buy games for exclusive. And Dealer brought up, you know, Titanfall as the reason why. Reaper, so you know Reaper's sick in the head, right? Everybody knows that. Like he really has a mental, not a joke. No, but not a joke. No, he really sick in the head. Yeah, he's really mental. Are you serious? He has a mental issue. Yeah, he's really sick, right? Okay. So that's why I don't bust his balls, because you know he really has a medical issue, right?
Crazy shit.
But Reaper, he's Xbox guy through and through. But he didn't understand what Dealer was trying to do. You know, me and Dealer are talking shit, right? T Reaper's like, hold on, let me talk about Titanfall. I'm playing it right now. Right now, there's only 1,700 people playing. Nobody plays Titanfall. And I looked at Dealer like, do you have anything to say? And Dealer's like, man, Reaper, shut the fuck up. Yo, I was like, yo, Reaper plays Titanfall. He loves the game. But the one thing he bitched about, nobody played the game. He said, during live on our podcast, he was looking at the screen, there was only 1,700 people playing the game. So nobody really liked. So
Titanfall 1 had a drop off.
So the truth is, nobody really liked Titanfall 1. It initially did great in sales and all that because of hype. Because like anything, like Anthem, hype, whatever. But after you buy the game and you play it, you're like, what the fuck? So it's like buyer's remorse. Titanfall 1 was buyer's remorse, right? So if you have the first game, buyer's remorse, are you really gonna go out and buy the sequel? No, the first game fucked you. Why would you go out and buy the sequel? And that happens to a lot of games where the first game gets big hype, people buy it, they don't like it, and then when the sequel comes out, they're like, fuck that. I played the first one, I didn't like it. Why would I buy the second one? And I think that was another thing that impacted Titanfall 2. People didn't give it a chance because they didn't like the first game. So they're like, I'm not buying Titanfall 2. I don't like the first one. Fuck that. I hardly played the first one. Why would I buy, especially when I could buy Battlefield 1, Gears 4, or another Call of Duty. And I think that's what happened with Titanfall 2. It just
let me ask you,
DJ, I remember that fucking April Fool's prank they did where fucking the Titan was like Optimus Prime and shit, and it turned into the vehicle.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that. Why? They said that was gonna be.
It was the April Fool's joke that everybody thought that you could like. It was DLC.
That would have been dope though. They should have done that. That would have been dope.
I thought it was gonna be added because they legit show gatlay, like him picking up the guy and putting it inside.
Out of here.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Look it up. It was
I'm gonna check that out. They should have done that.
They fucking didn't do it.
Why didn't they do that? They should have done that. That would have been
Titanfall 1. That game dropped off so quick.
It did.
It was dropped off sad, quick, bro.
It did.
You remember they gave the season pass?
I heard there wasn't a lot of content.
I remember that.
Yeah. I heard there wasn't a lot of content.
Yeah, it didn't have a lot of content. It didn't have a lot of modes or some shit.
Yeah, but they started adding modes, but the drop off was so.
It was too late for the drop off.
Yeah. Do you think this, Puerto Rock, though? Do you think with the stats you just got through showing the games, right? The guys have been shoehorned over the last decade, well, pretty much from last generation. It's kind of been shoehorned into Halo, Gears, and Forza. And with the Xbox being a dude bro shooter, that the Xbox community don't just identify the games outside that realm for the most part, for the most of them. They just don't support games outside of that. Thing, though.
I don't believe in supporting the game just to support it. You gotta make a good game for me to buy it. Like, it's got to be appealing. That's first and foremost. Remember, it's a consumer product. And Microsoft has not, for whatever reason, I think, like I said for a longest time, they don't have the right people to know what a good game. When you have, what's her name? I forgot her name. Fuck. She was what was her name on Microsoft? She was the first party coordinator. Shannon. Yeah. Shannon Loftus, right? When she said, when she compared fucking Rise?
Recore.
Was Recore
Rise, yeah.
and Quantum Break. When she compared Recore and Quantum Break to Halo and Gears, like you lost the plot. Like you don't know.
Quantum Break is better.
To be fair to her, Phil Spencer said that he wanted what was it, Crackdown, to be part of the stable.
But that's what I'm saying. When you don't have the right people, when like there's guys who make the games, the developers, and then you have the studios that recognize, this is gonna be a good game. And they don't have that. They don't have the people that can tell that's a blockbuster game versus we really gonna launch an Xbox One X with 4K Disneyland? Do you really think that's a good idea? Like they don't have those people. You understand? And because like Rise is not a game you try to sell a $500 console. It's not.
Yeah, I liked it though.
Yeah. But let me ask you something. Let's say you like the game, but are you saying that's a big blockbuster 500 console selling game? No. It's not.
Yeah.
But the problem with that though, Porter Rock, is you're not going to get sick if you don't support the first game.
But why would you like? I'll be honest. I wouldn't care a sequel of Rise 2. The first one sucked. So why would I care about a sequel?
Listen, but to be fair, Porter Rock, those launch titles compared to the last game, the last 3, 4, 5 games they've had recently, or way more quality than the last,
and I think I think they haven't done a good job. They haven't done.
With Rise is all about the graphics.
Yeah, they just graphically the game looks nice. Rise graphics is really nice.
Amazing.
The combat is fucking garbage. Like literally, is garbage.
It's basic. It's basic.
It's so easy, but. They just
tacked it on.
Like you said, Nat got a second game, right? Got a sequel. Sony, they don't mind if a game don't knock it out the park the first time. This is how we ended up with Uncharted 2.
Sony's so forgiving.
They will follow it up. They'll find out the first game.
Bro. Don't get kicked in shit.
If they never made Knack, nobody would notice.
I get kicked in your shin. I will fly all the way to Germany and kick you dead in your shin.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Overall, Microsoft as a first-party studio have not been smart and encouraging with the games, with the big blockbuster title. They just haven't got the games to really make people buy it. The only consistently good games they make is Halo, Gears, and Forza. That's consistently good. But if you make a new good IP,
100%.
you make a good. Listen, if you make a good game, people will buy it. If you don't make a good game, like Crackdown 3, why would people really people say, "Oh, you need to support it"? Like, really, you really expect people to support Crackdown 3?
It was
just like motherfuckers saying you guys support Battletoads. I mean, I know damn well you on this panel are going to buy Battletoads.
I am. It's 4K native.
Ain't nobody buying that damn Battletoads. Like
I am. It's 4K native.
Nobody
is not buying no damn Battletoads. That shit run like a damn slideshow.
Hey, look, y'all can't just call it that.
Here's the difference.
But the frogs filed a complaint against it.
Let me show you the pinnacle. Let me tell you about a pinnacle of a good game. Like I agree, Gears of War 5 is a good game. It's an overall good game, right? But the pinnacle of a great, compelling game, and the perfect example is God of War, right? Notice everybody praised God of War, right? For its graphics, its gameplay, and everything. But nobody mentioned a caveat that it's the PS4 Pro version. Nobody gave a fuck what platform you played it on. God of War, on its own merit, is just great. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what you had. The game is just great, right?
Experience.
Gears, good game, but a lot of the big praises is those that play on the Xbox One X or PC. You understand? A great game transcends the console. A great game, a great game you played on the OG Xbox One X. I mean, the OG Xbox One. It's fucking great. It doesn't matter which one you play. It doesn't matter the graphic settings, the textures. A great developed game transcends the console. You understand? Now, I'm not knocking Gears 5. It is a good game. I'm not gonna lie. It is a good game. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Right? But people are giving credit that it's the best game of the year game, but it's specifically tied to the Xbox One X and PC on the highest settings. Meanwhile, the Xbox One S and the OG Xbox One, they're not getting that same experience.
And 90%, 99% of
like The Last of Us. The Last of Us is going to be great even for the vanilla owners. It's going to be it's going to be a top killer for vanilla owners. That's what makes a game great. It transcends the platform. It takes a life of its own. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Microsoft, I don't think they have somebody that can help them with that. Well, technically, they're hiring a lot of motherfuckers from Sony. So maybe things will get better. They're taking raw talent. They're trying to pull, they're trying to pull talent from the team that made Sony successful. I mean, they got a lot of important people that made decisions. So maybe we'll see.
Hopefully they can make a good game.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll see those people that they got from Sony, right? They'll come in and they'll tell them, hey, you guys are doing it all wrong. Scratch the drawing board. Eliminate all that bullshit you're doing. This is what you guys need to do because this is what we did for Sony and PlayStation. This is the formula you guys need. Nope, that game sucks. Scratch it. That's the game you need. Hey, that Japanese game, you need to get that. Oh, but we don't sell in Japan. We don't care about Japan. There's a lot of gamers in Europe and in America that likes Japanese games. Get that fucking game. Don't do it for Japan. Do it for everybody else that will play that game. You need people that has that vision.
David Jaffe said on the podcast we were on, he came on and he said the only way that, and I'm just paraphrasing basically what he said, all of the stuff that Microsoft is trying, it's not going to work. The best opportunity they have, the number one asset that Sony has are their executive team. People that has the eye and the talent and the knack for knowing what guys to go out and hire to have the quality control to get the type of game. Right now, I don't think Microsoft or anybody at Xbox knows what type of games to make that will appeal to their base and that will knock it out the park. They don't know right now. They're just throwing shit at the wall. You got Battletoads coming. You got
Bleeding Edge. Here's my thing. I like Ninja Theory, and I love Ninja Theory, right? But I honestly didn't expect their first dedicated Microsoft project. And I granted, they probably already had that game in development. Yeah. But I didn't think they were gonna come out the gate with Bleeding Edge. I'm like, holy shit, these guys came out with a multiplayer. Like I'm like,
they needed a game.
Like if you pick Ninja Theory, you got the studio for a reason. What are they known for, right? Yeah. And when people saw Microsoft hired Ninja Theory, every single person, even the hardcore Xbox fans, everybody, and Shane, that's true. Everybody said, Shane, you even agree. Everybody was saying this was their answer, or at least part of their answer to get more single player content. Everybody said 100%. That. Shane, we were all in there. What did they do? We were all saying that. They got Ninja Theory. They make great single player games. Microsoft is they see
perfect pickup.
And then when they announced the first title, it's an online multiplayer game, and everybody's like, and then everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm like,
because it fits that narrative. It fits Game Pass. The multiplayer. Listen, this is why Xbox got to the top of their lungs. Multiplayer. They've been shoehorned into that, right? But unfortunately, it hasn't paid off for them.
Even a game like a Hellblade sequel would be would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would get people to be like
much bigger.
And then let's say if Microsoft said, "Hey, the game is much bigger because we're funding it now." Obviously, Hellblade, Ninja Theory did it on their own, so they only spent $12 million. But we're giving these guys $75 million. This game is gonna be God of War big. That's something that's like, holy shit! Like these motherfuckers ain't fucking around. We will take notice, but nobody like Phil Spencer, like that's not in his mind. Like he doesn't sit down thinking, "Yo, Ninja Theory, you want to make a Hellblade sequel? We'll give you $75 million, $100 million to make it." And Ninja Theory be like, "Cool, we'll do it." Like that's vision of somebody. Like it's such a simple answer, and nobody's gonna knock that game. I mean, well, the hardcore fanboys will, but you'll have a better response than the Bleeding Edge, because that Bleeding Edge, what the fuck? I'm like, what that fat chick?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we looking at?
Yeah, like with Bleeding Edge, P-Rock, that game supposedly was in development for the last 6 years, and the B team are working on that. This is what we're in. There's two teams. The A team that made Hellblade are working on something, and the B team.
the A team.
Well, Hellblade's good.
Yeah, Hellblade was a really good game.
I enjoy Hellblade.
Oh, yeah. Man, and you played on a headphone. You played that game with headphones. You have to play with headphones. Yeah, you have to play with a headset. There's no way you can enjoy that game on TV.
Y'all think we're getting a second one? That's going to be exclusive to Xbox. Y'all think that's happening?
Game Pass. It's going to be on Steam. Well, every game is going to be on Steam. So
every game's going to be, Steam.
I know the big question you're asking. When will Microsoft pull the trigger and put their games all their games on PlayStation, Nintendo?
2024.
It's going to happen next year.
I will say, like I said, Microsoft is first focusing because the way they're doing it, or this is an assumption on my part, but they're trying to ease it in to the point when they do pull that trigger, it's not going to be a big deal. Because look, when Microsoft first announced supporting PC, they're going to put all their games on PC, they didn't say anything about Steam. And Shane, you also know one of the damage control. Oh yeah, it's on PC, but it's only on Microsoft Store, so it's still a Microsoft exclusive. Yada yada yada.
Technically,
everybody was saying that. It's on Microsoft.
Why is that? Why do they come up with that moist ass? It's on another platform.
But
P-Rock, we were talking about this yesterday on the show, on Z Show, and Aaron J-Dub will know this, but Aaron Cheeseburger said that we will not be putting Game Pass or any other games on any other platform. This is what he said yesterday.
Ooh.
Aaron Greenberg.
Well, probably not.
He's not in charge. He's not in charge. Hold on. Let me ask you something. Who's in charge? It's the dollar's in charge, right? He wants games on all platforms.
No, 100%. But this is the problem. The messenger, you get one person saying.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not.
No, you get in one person. Yesterday, you got Aaron Greenberg saying no other games will be going to other platforms. Then you got someone else saying we want Game Pass everywhere. Yeah. So the message is fucked up.
But I will say this.
The message is not mixed.
So notice, Microsoft supported PC. They didn't mention about Steam. Everybody's like, well, it makes sense because it has the Microsoft Store.
Windows stores.
But then at E3, Phil Spencer pulled the plug and he said, hey, every game goes on Steam. Notice nobody really had a big issue at that point. In fact, people were saying, they were saying when he put the game on Steam, it didn't really get a lot of backlash. Sure, you have ponies talking shit, but there was no backlash. In fact,
it was a major.
In fact, Phil got praised because they're thinking they're giving PC gamers more choices on how they play their game. You see what I'm saying? I think the next step for Phil, I wouldn't be surprised if Phil goes after Mac OS, their desktop, because Steam is on there, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft opens up a Windows Store on Mac OS, right?
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprised. And guess what? But think about it. If they put it on Mac OS, no one's going to have a big deal about it. Because really, who cares if you could play Microsoft games on Mac OS, right? No one's going to counsel war over it. No one's going to talk shit about it. People are going to praise Microsoft for more options for Mac users that don't play on PC. It's going to be all good. No one, sure, the hardcore pony, J-Dub, he's going to talk shit. He's going to take a picture of his MacBook. He's gonna talk shit, but you know J-Dub's gonna do it, right? He's like, I'm gonna buy all my games. He's like, I'm gonna buy all my games on MacBook. He's gonna buy. I'm gonna buy.
I'm just gonna take a screenshot. If that ever happened,
J-Dub's gonna do it, right? But that's just shit talking.
But as far as Microsoft is doing that when Apple is their main competitor, that they're bending the knee like that.
Everybody's gonna talk shit. The hardcore, Clemson's gonna talk shit, but in reality, the industry articles, no one's really going to see it as a big deal because Apple's not really a competitor in this gaming space. They're in phones, but not in console, whatever. So not a big deal. So now, by that point, people are used to xCloud, right? On Android. They're used to, gaming on Mac. They're used to gaming on Steam. They're used to gaming on GOG. They're used to gaming on Xbox Scarlet, Xbox One. Everybody's just used to gaming Xbox, literally everywhere. So then when Microsoft...
It's a long game. This is a long game.
Yeah, the long game. So then by that point, when they add games to PlayStation, who's really going to bitch? Because most of the people are like, well, I game on Mac, so what's the big...
We're playing...
Well, what I'm
saying? They're taking it slow. They're taking it slow instead.
100%.
Yeah.
When their games come to the PlayStation, they're also going to insist that Sony let them be cross-platform. because they do not.
But I don't think Microsoft.
They don't want to lose.
Yeah, but I don't think. I don't think Sony will have an issue with that because look, Call of Duty's crossplay. Yeah. Sony let up on that. Sony little by little gave up.
But P-Rock, you were talking. Oh, sorry, you cut out there. But P-Rock, you were talking about this before on the other show.
Time ago, yeah.
You were talking about about services like look at your Windows, Microsoft Word, your Windows. You pay subscriptions. Like this is what they want you. You were talking about.
So while Shane was talking about, so on one of my videos, right, Microsoft. So in the military we have something called home use program, right? So it's the American government has an agreement with Microsoft, and they sell us Microsoft Windows products for like $10. Like I could get Microsoft Office for $10, right? It's cheap, right? So all military members. So a home use program, right? And I've been doing that for years. I've been getting the latest shit for only $10, right? Microsoft sent me an email, right, on my military account saying that they are now offering subscription service for Office 360, right, lifetime for a low monthly cost, and even if you leave the military, you still get it at that price. So even with productivity software, Microsoft Office, it's PowerPoint, Excel, just simple shit, right?
Yeah.
They have a subscription service for that. I'm thinking, these dudes are wilding. Like, so I'm in camis, I'm in my camouflage uniform in my office, and I'm thinking of console shit. I'm like, because I got this email from Microsoft. I'm like, these motherfuckers want me to subscribe to some shit for fucking Excel documents. I'm like, these dudes want subscription everything. Like everything.
On everything.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if one day they make the OS a subscription service, where you don't have to buy Windows individually, just subscribe to Windows OS and you just get it for a low monthly cost.
Yeah.
I'm 100%. Like, these dudes are bugging. I'm like, these motherfuckers want me to do a subscription-based PowerPoint presentation. Like, what the fuck?
It's crazy? Sony came out with a statement that they're going to be selling their stuff on their actual website now. Like you can buy directly from Sony.
Oh, yeah, like their physical stuff, like games and shit.
Yeah, you can buy games, you can buy accessories, the consoles. So I'm wondering if they're doing this for the PS5 as well, like take pre-orders in.
Yeah, they probably will. Because when you think about it, let's say like GameStop. GameStop at one point was the largest.
GameStop's not reliable anymore.
But they're going down.
Yeah, they're not reliable like that. They're like a liability at this point.
They're going down. Right?
Oh, look, I say that on Scumcast, and they did not believe the tariffs.
I forgot about the tariffs. You remember that shit going on with the tariffs? Yeah.
That's over. That's over.
And when you think about it, any company like Microsoft has their own store, so they sell their own shit, right? When they sell their own shit through their own store, they keep more of the money because remember, like Best Buy, when they sell PlayStations or when they sell products, they get stocking fees. They make money off the company because they're selling it for them. So really, when you think about it, Sony's just bypassing the middleman, selling it direct to consumer.
Can you see bigger deals like this? You think?
Because I know. You mean like bigger deals?
Because Amazon, because we got Amazon Prime, Best Buy has deals, so Sony will have to come out with special bonuses. Like if you buy this directly from the Sony store, you get a free controller or something.
You get like a free controller. You get like an additional month of PS Plus.
Shit like 6 months of PS Plus if you buy it from our store. Shit like that. Yeah, it could work. It could definitely work if they made that.
That's probably like 10% cheaper buying it directly for them through them versus retail.
But let's be honest.
Or you get $20 credit on PSN store automatically.
There you go. Yeah, that's
automatically. Use this code for PSN credit.
But
pre-order this Ultimate Edition, you get 20 store credit into your accounts.
They should do, but this is a problem. Look at the Microsoft store. The Xbox One X is $500, $400 now. You could go around and find it cheaper elsewhere.
That's true. I mean, that's really
Sony could have the same problem.
That's really,
Oh yeah, Electro Gamer made a good point too. He said also free shipping if you're a PS Plus member. That'd be dope.
Yeah, they have ways to capitalize on selling games directly.
Yeah, that could be like their Amazon Prime.
Selling games, selling controllers, selling direct to consumers. Cool. They have ways to. Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'd be like, buying something is just buying something. I don't give a fuck what store to buy it at. Normally, I buy my shit.
Those little credit cards.
Normally, I buy my stuff. Like if physical games, or for a while I was buying my physical games on Amazon because they used to have the pre-order 20% discount. They don't have that no more. Yeah, but all my consoles, I bought it from a military store because there was no tax. So I didn't pay taxes on anything. It was just $3.99 straight. So like, let's say
so you've been straight digital this whole physical. You've been straight physical.
No. So mixed. So games that have multiplayer, I will go digital because I game share with my brother-in-law. I would buy the game physical if I was able to get it significantly cheaper. Then I would buy physical. But if I wasn't able to get it cheaper, then I would just buy digital because again, I would game share with my brother-in-law. Here, I've been buying mostly digital because the games in Germany are more expensive physical.
Yeah, I think you were talking about. You said they were like ridiculously.
It's a little bit more expensive.
The prices are crazy.
Yeah, the euro's crazy. Yeah, I'm like, God damn, you're paying like $70-something for a game. I'm like, oh shit.
That's
hey guys, I got to hit out. It's almost 11 o'clock.
Oh shit, my man ran out of moonshine. He's
moonshine. Well, he my way. Play some
Mass Effect. I told you, I knew it. Mass Effect. You know, I beat it. I beat Mass Effect Andromeda.
Trash.
Yeah, Andromeda is trash, bro. I'm like, God.
What time is it?
Fucking Angry Joe's review was spot on with the eyes going everywhere.
It's bad. Man. I'm like, I beat it. It wasn't Red Dead Redemption 2 bad though. It's better than that.
No, it wasn't. It was better than that.
But I'm like, man, they like, fuck. What did they do to the game, bro? Well, obviously BioWare didn't make it, so at least the main team.
Yeah. But hey, they canceled the DLC and they kept online mode on for all you people who want to go around and pew 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 like they kept that on for you. But thanks for having me on, P-Rock. Shut up, Pam.
All right.
And
brother.
Yeah, remember play the games or the terrorists.
You know, the fight started, yeah. Spence versus Porter.
Are they fighting today?
Yeah.
The fighting today. Has it started?
It'll probably start at midnight, right? It'll start at midnight then, East Coast time. So probably in about an hour.
Yeah, another hour.
Because they try to start the fight at 9 West Coast. Like the main fight anyway. Yeah. The main fight they try to kick it off at 9 p.m. West Coast time.
Yeah, that's true.
So they go by Las Vegas, especially it's in Vegas, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's gonna be late.
Yeah, then it's in about an hour.
Fuck that, we need to go to sleep.
Yo, I don't know how you dudes in Europe do it. Like, I love you, Europe is this whole continent is dope. I love the countries. But goddamn, I gotta stay up to watch. I gotta stay up late to watch football. I gotta stay up late to watch boxing. I'm like, yo, fucking Z wants to do his podcast at 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, yo, this shit's crazy.
How the food over there?
Oh, the food's delicious.
Dedication.
The food's delicious. German food's all right. German food's all right. Italian. When I went to Italy, yo, that shit is straight. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. Oh my god.
Yeah, Peter, you would love the food. Yeah, no, in where I live, you would love the food.
So yeah,
how long they got you stationed down there for?
I got 2 more years. Well, 2021.
No, okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to head out to London. I want to do a 4-day trip.
Peter, could you come to?
No, you missed Italy. Though you wish you was stationed in Italy.
I wish I was stationed in Italy though. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I love that fucking country. Oh my god.
Taking boat rides and shit.
I went to Amalfi Coast. Oh my god, bro. Tell you what, bro. My wife's like, man, I'm glad we're married because you would have dumped my ass. I'm like, yeah, I would have. Nah, I'm just lying. Listen, boy, you lucky I made a lifelong vow with you, woman, because this shit would have been rap. If I would have came out here in my single days, oh my god. I would
never came back.
Oh my god!
Let's be honest. You love herpes.
What's up? Probably. Fuck it. I would have been like old dirty bastard. I would have been like old dirty bastard. Bro, I would have got burned 3-4 times. My man, like, I got gonorrhea 3 times. This bitch burned me 3 times. Like, stop fucking the same bitch then. I would have been like old dirty bastard. I would have been dirty. Oh, I would have been dirty digging. Man, but yo, Europe, if y'all could travel, my god. Fucking definitely travel. And what it is so easy because you could drive everywhere. Like France is 2 hours away from here. To drive into Paris, 6 hours. A 6-hour drive to Paris. It's fucking crazy. Croatia, I could get there in about 2 hours. Yo, it's crazy. It's fucking insane, bro. Like this place is crazy. It's fucking good.
What's up, though? What's up?
No, that's the thing. Once you're in the Europe area, you can move around really good.
Yeah, man. Like you move around, so the first time we drove to Paris, right? fucking, this is my first time in the country. I'm thinking like American, whatever. So we have our passport in the glove box. Me and my wife expecting some type of checkpoint. Where are you going? Where you're from? Do you have vegetables? How many Mexicans you got in the trunk? All that bullshit, right? We're thinking, whatever. We drove all the way to Paris, and we didn't notice we were in Paris until we realized the signs were in French. Like, there was no checkpoint, nothing. Like, we just in this motherfucker. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, you could just drive places and, like, everybody's cool. Like, man.
Yeah, France is cool, to be honest. I went Disneyland over there.
Yeah.
It was cool, man.
So, yeah, we have a good time and stuff. So, I'm enjoying the next 2 years. I'm, trying to hit up more spots and shit like that. I gotta hit up Gamescom next year.
Peter, make sure you go to Spain. Spain is good.
Yes, I want to try to Mallorca. And Ibiza.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh shit! You're gonna lose your wife.
Oh, yo, they told me Mallorca's crazy.
I'm telling you now, yo, P-Dog, it was crazy. Me and my brothers went, tits flying out.
Shit.
Fuck you,
I'm gonna buy sunglasses.
Shit.
My eyes are gonna be wandering. I'm gonna get sunglasses and my eyes are gonna wander. My wife's gonna slap me with the sunglasses on.
P-Dog, they had a nightclub on the streets, yeah. 5,000 people. It was foam party, all sorts of shit. It was crazy. That week was crazy. Trust me. Make sure you wear glasses. Make sure.
Let me tell you a story. So I was stationed in Japan, right? So in Okinawa, so Japan celebrates. They have their own spring break. They call it Golden Week. So it's like their version of spring, right? Spring break. Whatever, right? So Okinawa, the island Okinawa, is kind of like their version of the island Okinawa is like their version of Hawaii, right? So people in mainland Japan, they go to Okinawa for their Golden Week. That's their, island, whatever, right? So me and my wife, we were young. This was like 2010. This was like 9 years ago, right? Long time ago, right? So we were in this club called Psycholos, probably one of the biggest club on the island. Oh, that place was packed. Like, oh my God, because you have the people from mainland Japan, you have people from Australia. You just had tons of people there, right? So I had this boy, Jeffrey. He was Army Delta Force. Dude's cool as fuck, right? Cool as fuck. Black dude. Cool as fuck, right? Dude is jacked. But he spoke fluent Japanese, right? Dude's cool as hell, right? So my wife goes to this bathroom and she meets this Japanese girl from mainland Japan, right? My wife, she's half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. She has curly hair, like naturally curly hair. And in Japan, Japanese girls don't have that. So when they look at girls with naturally curly hair, they think it's very pretty because it's something they don't often see, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, because they have straight dead hair. It's natural to them. So the girl looked at, she spoke English and she talked to my wife. She's like, is that natural? She's like, oh my God, it's so pretty, whatever. They come out the bathroom. My wife is being friendly with the culture, whatever. She introduces us, she has her homegirls and, we say, hey, what's up? Jeffrey's like, whatever. And everything's cool. Everybody's drinking, everybody, whatever. Well, this girl, she's acting kind of frisky with my wife. Right? I find it funny. Like, shit like that makes me funny, right? And me and Jeffrey's and I'm thinking and I'm drunk, right? I'm drinking that Hennessy. I'm like, back then I used to drink Thug Passion like a motherfucker. I was still on my Tupac stage, right?
Oh, shit.
And I'm looking at Jeffrey like, yo, am I bugging out? Like, is this bitch trying to hit on my wife? And Jeffrey's looking at us like, yo, I think she's trying to kick game to your wife, right? So Jeffrey, right? He talks to the girl, right? And he says something in Japanese and points to my wife, right? And she nods her head, yes. And my wife's like, wait. Like, at that point, my wife's like, okay, something's funny, right? Jeffrey says the same exact words, and he points at me. And she nods her head, yes. I already knew what that meant, and I'm smiling. My wife is like, hell the fuck nah. We getting the fuck up out of here. My wife is all pissed. She's like, this bitch thinks she's gonna suck my shit and suck your dick. Get the fuck out of here. Please fucking get the I was laughing. We had to leave the club. Yo, my wife was mad. Oh shit. She's like, get the fuck out of here. And she's looking at me, you like this shit. I'm like, yo, she your friend. All right, but look at me. She your friend, right? She ain't my friend. Your friend, right? You kick that. Yo, bitch, you know what I'm saying? No one told me half these girls are lesbos. What the fuck? That shit wasn't part of the military brief. I'm like, oh shit. Yo, this shit was funny, bro. Like, mad girls. And then after that day, we just started noticing more and more girls were hitting on my wife every time we go to the club. And I just found that shit hilarious. And my wife's getting pissed. Like, that's crazy. Like, yo, that shit was funny, bro. That shit's crazy. Yeah. Yo, that shit was wild. Yo, but that shit was wild. Motherfuckers knew how to party. I'm like, yo, and I was crossing my fingers. I was like, oh, come on. I ain't gonna lie. I was crossing my fingers. Like, if this is, I'm like,
P-Rock was like, damn, I should have got a couple of more drinks.
I was like, so close. I was like, ooh. I was like, in before the lock. My man Jeffrey said that shit. My wife knew. I knew. And I don't even speak Japanese, but you could just tell that this girl was ready to get her freak on. Like, this girl Kane was coming. I'm like, fuck. Shit. I was like, oh my God. I was like, God damn it. That's it. I had my moment. I'm like, fuck. I pulled the,
You missed it. You had your moment 10 years ago, Peter. Man. You fucked it.
That's it, man. I pulled the Atlanta Falcons. I could have been a contender. You know what I'm saying? I was in there, dog. I was in there. That was my one and done chance.
Wow.
I was like, yo,
they gonna take your ass to Chippendales.
Listen, when you go to New York, make sure you get your sunglasses. Just be ready. That's it.
Damn.
Just be ready.
Oh shit. I'll say another one. So this happened in June. So we're in the Amalfi Coast, and it's this area in Italy, fucking beautiful, absolutely beautiful, right? So we're on the beach, right? Where you could pay for benches and all that stuff. So we got 2 chairs, the umbrella, we got food. Everything's beautiful, right? There's 3 girls next to us, right? 2 of them went topless. So my eyes completely left, and I started looking in the other direction, right? And these girls are like I could see from my peripheral, they're taking selfies, they're doing all this shit. And I'm like next to it, and my wife is looking at me, staring at me. And I'm like, and I told her, I ain't looking. And she's just looking at me like, she's like, it's okay, you can look. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, nah. She's like, look, they're taking pictures. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Soon as you turn that head.
Boy, she would have punched the shit out of me. I'm like, I'm not stupid. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna tell you why I know this story, because I'm gonna tell you another story about me and my wife. Shit, I should do a fucking podcast on just this shit alone. Stories of me and my wife. I got stories of me and my wife for days, bro. So like funny shit. Right? So I'm just staring, and I had to stay staring in the other side of the beach for like 4 hours until they left, because these girls didn't give a fuck. Titties out there talking, they dancing, they're doing selfies. I'm like, and I'm thinking, these girls, when are they gonna fucking leave? Because I'm like, and my wife is like straight staring, and she's telling me, no, it's cool. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm looking at her like, I'm good. Like, I'm straight, right? And I'm like, man, and it's crazy. I was like, but let me tell you why I know I would never, like, my wife's like, we go to strip club together. I'm like, no. So in New York, this is when we were just dating, right? So her sister took us to a place called X Bar. It used to be Jimmy's Bronx Cafe, which was a huge club in New York. They shut it down because there was
Jimmy's. That was
you know what I'm talking about? Jimmy's Bronx. All the drug dealers used to be in that motherfucker. Fat Joe, Big Pun, right? And that's why they shut that place down, because
of the Negan,
that shit. But that place was live, right? But they renamed it. Same owners. They renamed it X Bar, right? But the place was still popping, right? This was in the Bronx. So we go in, partying. The place is dope, right? There was a part of the X Bar that you walk through a door, is the go-go area. So you had, dancers on stage, topless, right?
Of course.
Karen, my sister-in-law, she's like, there's another part of this thing, go-go bar. It was Chassie. I was like, nah, I'm cool. Chassie goes, let's go check it out. I'm like, all right, cool. So we go check it out. We sit down, right? We sit down by the bar, right? And there's the go-go dancer.
Yeah, a second.
Chassie's enjoying, my wife Chassie, she's enjoying, Karen's enjoying, whatever, right? One of the go-go girls winked at me. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I smiled. Chastity slapped the shit out of me in the back of the head. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, oh, you want to go home with that bitch? I'm like, what the fuck happened?
fuck?
I'm like, yo, this girl is tripping. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go to the club and I'm gonna dance with any motherfucker out there. And she left. And I'm like, well, fuck it then. I'm gonna stay here then. If you're gonna be like that, that pissed her off even more because she didn't actually do it. She just wanted me to chase after her, and I didn't. Oh my god, that pissed her the fuck off, bro. But I'm like, one, she winked at me. I didn't even wink back. I could understand if I winked back, then you might have something. But all I did was smile because I'm like, yo, that shit's funny. She winked at me, right? And now we went from a wink to I'm gonna go home and sleep with her. I'm like, God damn, you tripping. Yo, I'm like, yo, you wildin' and shit. And then she's like, oh, but, and I told you that I was gonna dance with other dude. You didn't follow me. Because I'm like, babe, I know you ain't gonna do that because I'm just too good looking. Yo, that pissed her off even more. She's like, yo, Chassie was like, you are the most conceited motherfucker I have ever met. I'm like, but you with me? You gonna? But I'm like, but you coming home with me though? She's like, yo, I can't. Like, yo, but she came home with me though. She did come home with me. Yo, the stories me and Chaz, I could tell you about that girl. Yo, that girl's a firecracker too, bro. That's my number one fighting buddy. Oh my god, yo, that girl was down with me with fights. Even when I tell her. Because, you know, she's little. She's like 120 pounds. I'm like, yo, babe, stay back there. I got this. Hell fucking nah. This bitch, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. Another story.
Go for it.
Everybody's going to love this story, right? So we're married at this point. So we're in New York. My daughter's godmother got a big promotion with American Airlines. They're moving her in Florida. Huge, right? I was like, oh, shit, right? So her co-workers, me and Chaz, two of Tanya's friends, big ass group. We all went out clubbing in Queens, right? To celebrate, right? Big celebration because of her promotion, right? One of Tanya's friend, she hurt her leg bad. I don't know what the fuck, but like she hurt it bad while dancing, like real bad. Like she couldn't even walk, right? So the group of girls carried her to one of the VIP booths that they even had to call an ambulance. They called the ambulance to pick her up. Yo, she was in pain. So they laid her they laid her on a VIP booth until the ambulance came, right? Chastity was with the group. Tanya was with the group with her best friend. So all these girls and whatever was there, right? I was on the other side of the club watching with Chastity's sister, Janine, right? We were drinking, you know what I'm saying? I had my Hennessy, again, I had my Thug Passion. Janine had whatever, right? I'm on the other side of the club. All of a sudden, I see this big commotion. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking the reason why there's a big commotion is because people are nosy. They see this girl in pain. Everybody, you know, New York is like, what the fuck is going on, right? So I'm thinking, oh, shit, you know. People are just being nosy, right? They probably noticed that this girl's in pain, and now everybody wants to see what's up. So I'm staring across the club. There's a bar. There's like a huge bar in between me and Chastity, whatever. So I'm looking on the other side of the club looking. All of a sudden, I see Chastity. She grabs this table, right? A little small circular table. She lifts it up, like not lift it up like the whole table, but like angles it, you know? Like she only lifts one end. So she lifts up one end of the table so the other end could drop down. So she raised one end of the table, the other end drops down on a dude's throat. So she's choking this dude out. Like she's choking him. Like she lays it hits the dude's throat, right? And then she puts her body on top of it, and now the table's squeezing him, right? He's squeezing the dude's throat.
Damn.
And I'm like, this dude is choking. At the same time, she reaches over and starts punching his face. I'm like, I drop my drink, I run around the club, and I just grabbed her, and I left the club. I'm like, because I don't know what the fuck she did to this dude. I just left. I'm like, we out. Like, we getting the fuck out of here. Shit. And I look at Chastity, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? And she's like, that motherfucker is there bitching, like acting like a little bitch because we're in his table that he paid for, and we're telling the motherfucker that the chick is hurt, wait till the ambulance and we'll leave. And he says, fuck you and the bitch. I don't give a fuck. And she's like, I'm not going to let no motherfucker call me a bitch. So he got what he deserved. And I'm like, I didn't know what to say because I'm like, all right, he called you a bitch. Okay. But like, did you have to choke? Okay. Like, you could kill the motherfucker, right? And that's Chastity in a nutshell. She don't give a fuck. Like that girl don't give a fuck. She will fuck a motherfucker up. She'll crack a bottle over somebody's head. Like she has no chill with the law. Like, we'll worry about court later. I'm like, yo, this girl is fucking crazy, man.
Peter, now we know why you're scared for. That's why you keep your eyes straight. Don't look left. Don't look right.
I know this girl. This girl won't.
Glasses.
This girl won't. They're like, yo, this girl's a firecracker, though, bro. I'm like, yo, this girl is hot. Hot with the hands, though.
Get them glasses on. No. That's what I'm gonna make sure them make sure them glasses cover your side of your face.
Yeah.
So she can't see you looking.
They're saying Latino people like, yeah, my wife's half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. The worst mixture ever, bro. That's just fucking. That's like 151 mixed with moonshine. You gonna have a yo, but I love that girl today. Yo, that girl has my back. Oh my god, bro. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yo. I say we're gonna cut this shit to a close. You know what I'm saying? We've been in here. We've been cutting it up for a fucking minute. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, the realest podcast. You got nothing but the truth here, and of course, this is the podcast where Shane admitted Xbox One suck. So you know, he don't want to be kicked out. He's like, they're gonna kick me. Come on, man. They're gonna kick me out, man. Please don't do this to me.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
He's like, yo, P-Rock, I'm gonna get YouTube to take the show off.
Oh shit, man. But anyway, yo, thanks for rocking out. I hope you enjoyed the craziness.
Awesome.
I hope you enjoyed the craziness that we had. We had a lot of craziness. Yo, I want to shout out to Jay Bari.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm glad you took the time to rock out. Of course, J Dub, I'm glad you took the time to rock out. Shane, thanks for showing up. Big Cloud Gaming.
Always, bro.
Thanks for rocking out with us also. And
nah, man, good talk to you, man.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Good shit, good conversation.
Good time, like old times.
That's it. And to the chat, you are the true winners. Thank you for rocking out with us, man. All right. Anyway, we're gonna cut it short. This is your boy Porter Rock 77.
Cut it short.
Yo, we're gonna cut it short, right? It's too late.
Been on the shit. Been on the shit for like 4 hours.
All right, later, bro. Bang bang. Grand opening. Grand closing.
Grand closing.
Oh shit! I hit the wrong button. Let me see. Where we at?
Oh shit.
Nice.
End stream.